very good morning and welcome to Stade Charlotte in the south of Paris for day 5 of the Paralympics World Championships in 2023. A noticeably cooler day with cloudy conditions overhead. The athletes will certainly enjoy it a little bit more. 32 degrees yesterday. Today, not quite up to that standard just yet. The crowds have been telling everyone all about what's been going on here. We've had a good mixture of youth annoying their parents along the way, but having a great time at it. So those are the conditions, 18 degrees at present. Maybe a tiny bit more breeze than there was over the past 4 days, but being honest, conditions are still very good indeed for high-class athletics. Well, fancy dress is sometimes the order of the day. Not my style, but hey, you look good, sir. Don't let anyone tell you any different. One of the India delegation there taking pictures, and he would have been taking pictures of Kumar last night in the high jump, who picked up a silver medal in the T47. But the schedule for day 5 in the morning session sees 7 finals taking place, 2 on the track and 5 on the field. The men's discus throw F56 will get us underway with the defending world and Paralympic champion Claudine Batista dos Santos of Brazil. Women's shot put F54 as well. There is that one track final of the morning, the women's 400 meters T20 intellectual impairment category. Finishing the session around 11:30 in the morning. I'm Tolson Tollett. Alongside me, as usual, is Will Downing and Steph Reed, a former World Championship gold medalist. Good morning to you both.
Good morning. Good morning to that gentleman there who wanted his moment in the sun as well, and he absolutely got it. Yeah, some really good names this morning, those 5 field finals, 2 in the track. Like that women's javelin F46. 2 of the biggest names of parasport, full stop in that. The 2 Hollies, Holly Arnold and Holly Robinson. They're both the record holders going into this, so that's going to be a lot of fun. This is the F56 discus final as well, which is starting very shortly, so that's a seated event which will take a bit of time to get the entrance in and out, same as the women's shot put F54. I've had really nice crowds here so far this week. And another long jump, of course, this morning. Men's T12, medium visual impairment of the 3 categories. And then there's all the track fun as well. Morning, Steph. We're just running through the field, first of all, in this men's discus final. Dusan Lachko, we've seen of Slovakia. Before that, Abdelhamid of Egypt. And another Egyptian, Ibrahim. Niraj Yadav of India. They brought a huge team here. When it comes to the field events, fantastic. And Raja Kumar last night, well, he went so far in that men's high jump. Roderick Tanzen edging him out. World record as well. For Greece, Konstantinos Sounis, our second representative in this final. For India, Yogesh Katunia. But he's the longest in terms of distance. He's a 48-meter man on his day. Nebojša Đurić of Serbia, 40.37 his lifetime best this year. The world record, championship record, held by Claudine dos Santos of Brazil. World record, 46.68, and in other competition he's thrown 46.99, but he got the gold in Dubai. He's the defending champion, he's the world record holder, the championship record holder, and he is the man basically they have to topple. So day 5 underway. Steph Reed, good morning, and what are you looking forward to today?
Good morning, Will. So I did not mean to leave you hanging there earlier. I just did not want to get in the way of the men's discus throw intros. But I think I'm still on a high from last night. I mean, just that rivalry and the atmosphere that we had, it was just amazing. I think that is actually emerging as one of the themes of this championships. It is the rivalries that we're seeing emerge.
Well, no doubt about it. It was a real thrill. We had 4 world records last night, including in the wheelchair events, the T34 and the T53, real thrillers.
Next final will be on the field, the women's shot put.
It was a hot Tuesday night. So we're going to go on as the introductions continue. This is the seated women's shot put. It's F54. There are 7 in this. Puya of India. Gloria Saza of Mexico. Francisca Mardones of Chile. She is the world record holder from Tokyo and the Paralympic Games, plus the championship record holder from Dubai last time out. For Nigeria, Flora Ugwunwa. For Brazil, Elizabeth Rodriguez. She's the only F53 in the field. As usual, if there's not enough in a different classification and their neighbouring divisions, if you like, they'll be put together. Nurkan Kurbanova, we see again. And Elham Salehi of Iran. So again, remember, it's a seated classification, so the athletes are strapped in. If they were on the track, they'd be wheelchair racers, and all of the 6 attempts occur at once. But there is a bit of racing early on.
The men's 200 metres T37 will be the opening events of the morning as we get a little tour of the track. This is going in the opposite direction, and there is our wonderful machine which is bringing you those great pictures, driven expertly, heading towards where the athletes will start as they run the bend and come into the home straight where we're positioned to finish the 200 metres T37 opening round heats. Saptiogo, we have seen already, the Indonesian. Nick Mayhew with the world record. Of course, he's now been reclassified to T38. We've seen him pick up a bronze medal already in the 100. Andre Verdoven of the RPC, who is not here at these games. Championship record for him of 22.59. 3 fastest will go through. The 2 best times after that from the 2 heats will advance to the final. There is Panomo, who has picked up a silver in the 100 metres already at these championships. Just having a look and getting himself focused on what's ahead of him. Christian Luis da Costa, he was the bronze medalist behind Panomo in that 100 metres race. He was 5th in the last World Championships in Dubai, and at the back of the field in the final in 2020 in Tokyo. So more to look forward to for him. Claudio Aquas of Ecuador, his first major championship. Lifetime best for him of 25.15. So you do suspect that he's going to have to improve on that throughout these championships if he's to get anywhere near the top 3 come final time. Great to see a mix of youth Steph Reed throughout these championships, as well as the experienced campaigners as well.
That's exactly what you want if you want the sport to develop. You need to have people at both ends of the spectrum.
Well, here's a 19 debutant from Dubai at his second World Championships, Yaroslav Okapinski. 17 years of age. We've seen this man already. He made the 100 metres final. India's Shreyansh Trivedi.
The new bronze medalist on the 100 meters, representing Brazil, Christian Luis da Costa.
And a man we just saw a moment or two ago, Christian Luis da Costa, will look to build on that bronze in the 100 metres, and this man will hope to go one better in the 200. He took silver in the 100 metres. Looked very strong indeed, did Septiogo Panomo. 23-27.
Lane 7, representing
His best time. Luis da Costa of Brazil has the best of those running in this heat as far as personal best goes. And Clara Agues will go in lane 7, the Ecuadorian.
to the final that will take place tonight at 7:45.
So 5 going, 3 will automatically go through to the final. Okapinski in 3, Trivedi in 4, Luis da Costa in 5, Panomo in 6, and Aguas in 7. Opening track event of the morning on day 5, men's 200 metres T37, first heat of 2. And away they go, and it is Luis da Costa who has moved up already after his opening 5 metres into the leading position past Panomo of Indonesia. He's around with 100 metres to go. He's run that bend quite nicely indeed, has the Brazilian, and he's around 7 or 8 metres out in front. Panomo in second position at the moment, and Okapinski of Ukraine will take third position. So it's Luis da Costa, Panomo and Okapinski in that order. 23.16 is the time across there, so not too far outside the championship record that was set back in 2015. Decent enough run, pulled up towards the end and looked very strong going around that opening 100 metres. It was only about 5 or 10 metres into the race that Luis da Costa had already gone up on the inside shoulder of Panomo, who equalled his season best and a lifetime best for Okapinski as well.
It was a great start from Luis da Costa, and I was a little bit nervous when he was introduced at the start, because you can see a little bit of strapping on his inside leg, and sometimes that can indicate an injury, sometimes it's just a precaution, and hopefully in this case it was just a precaution. This is the men's T37 event, and T37 means a balance and coordination impairment on one side of the body. So one of the additional challenges of trying to maintain your speed is that you have 2 different forces going through your body, which just makes it even more challenging to maintain that form.
Yeah, of course, if you want more information, head to Paralympic.org. We'll try and give you as much information as we can in a brief type of way. But if brevity isn't your thing, then head towards Paralympic.org and you'll get all the information you need. So the opening heat of the morning in the men's 200 metres T37 looks like that. Luis da Costa in first place, Panomo second, Okapinski third. They automatically qualify through to the final.
Yeah, very busy morning in the field events. That women's javelin F46 on the way shortly, the single arm amputee category, with the 2 Hollies in it who are perpetually jousting for the medals. Holly Robinson of New Zealand, the Paralympic champion, Holly Arnold of Great Britain. So Puya of India in this women's shot put F54, the seated event, all the throws at once, 5:48 she has gone out to at this stage.
Qui a remporté la médaille d'or, les amis? Est-ce que vous avez suivi un petit peu ce qui s'est passé ces derniers jours?
It's an event which this season
Il s'agit
has not been contested a huge amount. So we're going to see a lot of season's best come up, I imagine.
Throwing really is a full body event. It's not just about your arm, and when you don't have the use of your legs to help generate power, you can see there she's really trying to get that range and use every muscle she has in her torso and just transfer that power to what is a 3-kilogram shot in this event.
Tremendous consistency between her throws so far. 16 centimeters between the four of them today. Again, she's got that out. Something looking like approaching 5.5 meters. Every single attempt so far in the same range.
You'll see several athletes in the throws who have a vertical bar attached to their chair, and you can see the way that they're using it. Again, she's trying to lean back as far as she can to get as much range. You want to get that shot moving as quickly as you can with your body before releasing it. That's how you get that extra distance.
5:37 that time around. It's been a strange kind of morning. The temperature seems to have been veering between quite cool and now somewhat warm, which if you're out there will be quite awkward. That did roll quite a bit in the end.
It's too bad they don't count the rolls.
If only. If only. That's actually one of her best of the day, that last attempt. I think she should be quite satisfied with how she's done.
That's what's hard about this event, because she's gone up first. She's essentially competing completely blind because she hasn't seen anyone else go. But the reason you take all 6 events is because it is quite an involved process to get yourself set up in the chair. You can see as she's getting out of it, that's also quite a process, because you really want that chair to feel like it's a part of you, and you have to be solid in it. And actually one of the rules is that there can't be any movement, any lift, and they do have a judge, which is called the butt judge, who makes sure that you are throwing using just your upper body.
I should point out she's already been 11th in the discus this week, so we've seen them all already. So the men's 200 meters T37, the second heat in this, which is a semi-final. Top 3 to go through, plus the next 2 fastest. We've got a former world champion in this, actually, in the form of Sofiane Hamdi of Algeria. Goes in lane 6. And a former European champion in Michał Kukowski of Poland. Golds in the 2 and the 4 in Berlin in 2018. 3 silvers last time out in Bydgoszcz. In lane 4 for Namibia, we've only previously seen him in the 1500 meters, finished 15th in Dubai 4 years back, Petrus Karuli. In lane 5 for Brazil, bronze in the 200 meters at the last Worlds in Dubai, Ricardo Gomez. In lane 6 for Algeria, the 2011 world champion over 200 meters, Sofiane Hamdi. And in lane 7, Ukrainian championship debutant at the age of 16, Mykola Rajski. So T37 coordination impairment. This is the second strongest physically in terms of the 4 standing categories. Kukowski in 3, Karuli 4, Gomez 5, Hamdi 6, Rajski 7. And it's the leading trio who will progress. Gomez the fastest in the field this year, 23:11. First heat from Christian Acosta, won in 23:16. Kukowski, Nukuruli, Gomez, Hamdi, Raiski. And they are away. So it's the top 3 to progress, plus the next 2. And Gomez is well out, ahead of the pace straight away. Now somebody's lost a shoe there. Gomez isn't worrying about that right now. He is well out in front. Hamdi in second place. And it's the Pole, Kukowski, in third. Karuli, I think, is the one who's lost the shoe. Gomez hasn't lost his composure. 23.53. Solid win. All it had to be about was the win and the qualification for the next round. Hamdi and Kukowski comfortable as well, and that will be progression. That was a bit of bad luck about the shoe.
Well, it's quite unusual. I mean, the laces are still tied on that shoe. I have no idea why that fell off, but that's quite tough to deal with, because now not only do you have a slight difference in your leg length, you can see, well, his sock is still on, and he does have very cool socks. So not only was he running with a slight difference in his leg length, but on the bottom of those shoes are spikes that really help you grip and transfer that power.
That is very unfortunate for Petrus Karuli. That happened very early on in the race as well. Gomez is gliding away at this stage without any worry at all. And Karuli was barely 50 meters into it, and it just flies off. Laces weren't undone or anything like that. Usain Bolt used to run with that occasionally, with undone laces. Gomez making everyone else undone in this. Uncatchable, but it's about going through and nothing else.
We knew Gomez would be fast. We'd already seen what he can do in the 100. And the thing is, for the competitors behind him, they also now know what he can do. And the top 3 are going through in this qualification. And it's also, many of these athletes in this race, they've already had a reasonably busy championships. They had 2 days of heats, then they had a day off, and now they're back. And sometimes you can come into the second event just that little bit more settled, because you know what to expect.
Gomez takes it, 23.53. Hamdi, Kukowski and Raiski with the lifetime best all qualify. I reckon there Karuli might have lost half a second from losing his shoe, and it would have been a lifetime best. It's only about 0.2 outside. It's been an early start here, earlier than usual, but we'll all get into the rhythm of it. It's the kind of action to have you purring.
That is actually the most effective hat I have seen yet in the crowd. Perhaps that's why he's wearing it.
Not too sure you'd be saying that if you were wearing it.
Okay, I take it back.
That's the way to go.
The umbrella is far more effective,
Yes,
but not nowhere near as cool.
The Lion King to the much more sensible umbrella. Wonderful to see so many youngsters in with the Paralympics. Following on from the Olympics next year, Paris is going to be the sporting capital, the Rugby World Cup later this year, so it's all happening in France.
It's so fun to watch the way that kids often react to all the different cool prostheses and wheelchairs, and I know several times when I go to schools and I share a little bit about what it's like to have an artificial leg and to be a para-athlete, I always know that I've nailed it when, as they're leaving, they'll whisper to each other, "Oh, that's so cool, I wish I had an artificial leg." And you can see the parents in the background kind of giggling, ha ha ha, but no you don't. And that is very true. Real feet are awesome and you want to keep them, but it just shows that what they're seeing is just incredible sport, and that is all they see.
Well, it's education, isn't it, about understanding that para-athletes can be brilliant athletes in their own rights, and that's all we can do, is to bring these youngsters through and let them know about it, because there unfortunately will be some youngsters along the way who will have life-changing injuries and will perhaps become para-athletes. It's happened to many that we're seeing in these championships.
Well, I know in the case of my kids at home, particularly my youngest one, loves watching athletics on TV and sees no difference, which there isn't, between athletics and para-athletics.
Does your son have a favorite event? I mean, obviously besides women's long jump.
Loves the running. Loves the running.
Well, I'm a fan of the club throw.
I think if I can also get them interested in football, that will be a victory. Now, this is one of the big events of the morning. I know this is an event that so many always look forward to because it's one of the big rivalries around, and that's not to dismiss the other 14 who are in this competition. But there will be quite a few for whom this will be another joust of the Hollies. And this is the first of them. This is the women's javelin F46.
Women's javelin throw F46, the final. Representing Great Britain, she's
So first of all, the four-time world champion, the 2016 Paralympic champion, former European champion, Commonwealth Games champion, it is Holly Arnold, MBE. Next up for China, Zhang Zhongmin. For Brazil, Susanna Nahirnai. Just about the biggest squad we've ever seen from Papua New Guinea. Good spread of events, 24-year-old Dorna Longboot for PNG. Lifetime best this year of 29.05. Miriam Al-Matrushi of the United Arab Emirates, who've staged quite a few major championships in the past few years. The Asia Oceania Championships to the last Worlds. Naibis Murillo of Venezuela. For Algeria. Longest throw ever from our continent, Akura Bukufa. For Uzbekistan, who are having a great week, Rosa Yakon Ergashefa. Lifetime best this year for China from Shi Gaiting. One of the great recent discoveries of Dutch para-athletics, Noël Roorda. 40-21 a lifetime best, good contender for a medal this, and so is from Mexico, Kenya Lozano, whose lifetime best came this year and is right up alongside Roorda's, 7 centimeters away. Wang Yeze of China, she's a 41 solid thrower. For Germany, it's Lisa Peterson. You'll recognize the European 100 and 200 meter champion. She's medalled here as well in the track, Sashka Sokolov.
Representing South Africa,
Juan Leroux of South Africa, 28-20 lifetime best this year. And the reigning Paralympic champion for New Zealand, it's Holly Robinson.
They are the finalists of the
Every final is a big final. But when you get a couple of significant names and you consider how significant parasport is in Britain and in New Zealand, and of course we've seen para-athletes get onto reality shows and the nightly shows. Holly Arnold was in I'm a Celebrity, which got her a very big nightly audience, and she didn't have to travel too far for it on that occasion. But the day job is the more important one. A 5-time global champion she is. Holly Robinson, second behind her quite a few times until Tokyo. So this is going to be, I reckon, Steph, a lot of fun to watch throughout the morning.
It was great just watching, looking at that lineup and just seeing visually it was bookended with the world champion at one end and the world record holder at the other. And you're right, we keep talking about the two Hollies, and yet it was Noël from the Netherlands who got in between them for that silver medal in Tokyo. I think we're in, hopefully, for a lot of lead changes, a lot of big throws.
And we're going to start with the number one on the list. And the number one is Holly Arnold. And here she comes straight away. She's thrown 38.78 this year. And that's heading out towards the 40-meter line. So in terms of lifetime best, there's exactly 1 meter between them. Holly Robinson holds the world record, 45.73 from Sydney in 2019. And Holly Arnold in the last World Championships, in taking the title, 44.73. Holly Robinson doesn't have a season's best registered, not in World Para Athletics action anyway. So the standard to be set by Holly Arnold, and that standard is just about a meter off her season's best, so that's a good start. Exactly a meter and a half off it, actually, 37.36.
That is a good start from Holly Arnold, and when I've seen her, she is the kind of competitor who is still dangerous. She gets more dangerous as the rounds go on.
So in the background there, you can see athletes with their guides, and that means one thing: visual impairment category. The opening round in the men's 1500 meters, T11. Now, when I first started in parasport, that man there, Adair Santos, who holds the championship record, if you remember, World Downing in Doha, he was leading the whole way, and he slipped off the track with a couple of laps left, got pulled back on by his guide, and ended up winning, but was disqualified. So that is the brutality of parasport. It was a oppressive heat. He was fatigued. That happened. The race changed. So we have 5 going in this one. Julio Cesar Agrippino, the reigning world champion from Dubai 4 years ago. Karasawa Kenya of Japan, who was 4th in his home Paralympic Games, took silver in the 5,000 meters there as well. Wilson Bai of Kenya, 4th, just outside the medals in Rio 7 years ago, but he did take a bronze in the 5,000 then. Jimmy Caicedo of Ecuador, 25 years of age, first major championship, 4:14.90, his lifetime best set this year. And last but not least, Alexander Kozakowski of Poland. Bronze in 2017 and 19, the past 2 worlds. He took bronze in 2016 in Rio. He's the reigning European champion at this distance. So Agrippino, the best of the times in this field. World leading this year, 4:04.42 for him, the man who's the defending champion. So they've just been ordered to stand up there. You just saw on the inside Agrippino, the defending champion, his guy just asking him to move slightly, and the field have just been asked to take a breather. They'll reset. Remember, the guys are tethered to the athletes. You can see those tethers. They have to be tethered the whole way through, and the athlete at the end has to finish ahead of the guide. It doesn't matter what side they run on, right or left, it's completely up to them. And it is Agrippino who gets out to a fast start, immediately going to the front of the pack. So when they come around and head over the finishing line, they'll have 3 laps remaining in the men's 1500 meters T11. This is complete visual impairment. Now, they're checked beforehand to make sure that patches are under their masks, to be 100% sure that they can't see anything. And it is a very hard thing to do, to be running with that complete visual impairment, regardless of whether you have a guide. It's all about making sure you keep a bit of synchronicity. And Wilson Bai has gone to the outside So he's running 2 or 3 lanes wider at the moment. And Steph Reed, that can cause a few issues over the distance as it gets further on, because you are, of course, covering a greater distance.
That's true. If you want to run the shortest, obviously you want to run on the inside, but in this case, guys are having to account for the space that's taken up by 2 bodies, and maneuvering can be quite difficult. So it is part of the thought process about where do you want to be for that final lap. But this is quite interesting, because we saw in the 5,000, which happened 2 evenings ago, Agrippino went to the front and he ran a very aggressive race and sadly was just pipped on the line by Kurosawa. Now we see again, Kurosawa is currently sitting at the back. We have Agrippino at the front, and it'll be interesting to watch to see when Kurosawa decides to make that move with his guide.
Well, Agrippino still at the front. He's been there the whole way so far. So that is around 700 meters that he has been at the front of the field. Wilson Bailly still sitting ominously in second place. It is the first 2 who automatically go through, and then we'll have the next 2 fastest who will advance through to the final. Agrippino followed by Bailly, and then Casido of Ecuador, the 25-year-old at his first major championships, who's sitting in 3rd position. It's all about placement in the 1,500 meters, not going out too quick, just pacing yourself, and on that last lap, depending on what the distance is and who's behind you and who's in front of you, and looking at whether it's time to speed up or time to hang as you are. That's the key. It's all about tactics in the 1,500 meters.
It is, and in this race, so there's 9 men contesting it, and usually, you know, it's quite normal to see 9 men in a 1,500 meter final, but you have to multiply that by 2. And if we did that, we would end up with 18 bodies on the track, and that would make maneuvering quite difficult. We see accidents in tight packs and running all the time, but even more so when one half of the team can't see it. Right now, here we see Kurosawa and his guide. They've moved to the outside. They are getting ready to get to the front, where they want to be for that final lap.
There's been another shoe loss there as well. I think it might be Wilson Bailly who's just lost a shoe as they've come down in the home straight there. They've taken the bell. They've got a lap to go. So Wilson Bailly, I'm pretty sure it's him who's running with 1 shoe at the moment. But having gone to the front, it's Caicedo of Ecuador on his first major championship. And Kurosawa has now taken back past him on the outside again. So all of a sudden, it's toing and froing. Agrippino is in 3rd position, the gold medalist and defending world champion. It's only the top 2 that go through to the final, and he's trying to make a move around the outside with his guide now. So they're moving up into 2nd place on the shoulder of Casido on the inside, but it is the Japanese athlete Kurosawa who is now out in front. The top 2 go through as they move in to the home straight. So it's Kurosawa in 1st place, Agrippino currently in 2nd, but it's going to be a very tight race as to see who goes through. And coming down the outside, it's Kozakowski who's looking for it. In 1st place, it's Kurosawa. Kozakowski of Poland is going to get 2nd place and automatically go through, and the defending champion is in trouble and danger of not going through to the final. 4:11.55 at this time for Kurosawa, Kenya of Japan, and it is Alexander Kozakowski, who we didn't hear much about throughout the course of that race. He sat towards the back, timed it perfectly, and came through in 2nd position. 4:11.92 for him. For Kurosawa, that's a season best, 4:11.53. But there is Brazil's Agrippino, who's now going to have to wait and see if he goes through as one of the 2 fastest qualifiers. But Kurosawa and his guide, they waited their time, they bided it. There's the start when Agrippino looked like he was going to try and put them away early. But the Ecuadorian, Jimmy Casido, he stuck to his task. He thought he was there, and Kozakowski just came from nowhere. So another shoe. And there it is. It is Wilson Bailly's guide who lost a shoe.
Well, I have to say, it is far more common in distance running to see people run barefoot than in sprinting, but I don't think that was intentional.
It wasn't intentional, but it's something we rarely see, and we've seen it for 2 races in a row, once in the 200 metres and now in the 1500 metres. It wasn't the athlete, it was the guide this time. So Kosakowski takes second behind Kurosawa, Kenya. Season best for the Japanese athlete. Kosakowski goes through in second, and Agrippino will now have to bide his time and wait. Lifetime best for Casida, and Wilson Bailly in 5th, a season best for him though.
Well, you did say, Tolson, it was going to come down to tactics, and I think at the moment you can see the smiles there. They've got their tactics set, and we know that Kurosawa has that combination of both endurance and speed, which can be lethal and very hard to beat in these middle distance events.
Plenty happening in the field this morning. Well, Poland's used to staging top athletics events. They had the European Games a few weeks ago, those European Team Championships, which they've held for the 2nd time in a row, but obviously also the most recent edition of the European Para-Athletics Championships in Bydgoszcz 2 years ago. So back to the F46 javelin, and this is Lisa Pedersen. She's gone out to 34 meters this season, and that is very much around that mark. Championship debut on a global basis for the 18-year-old. Just had enough of a stick downwards in order to register a mark. 33.17. Lisa Pedersen goes into 6th spot. Holly Arnold leads. The European 100 and 200 champion is still warming up. At the moment, the 1, 2, 3 and that Arnold, Roorda and Erg Shaver. It's the second heat, semi-final really, of the men's 1500 meters T11 complete visual impairment. And the world record holder is in this, the reigning Paralympic champion, Yeltsin Jacques. Alongside him, the reigning Asian Games champion. Won silver at world level in the marathon in 2013. Shinya Wada. Next up for Kenya, Eric Sung. Still awaiting his first major championship medal. It's a championship debut for Michał Rogowski of Poland, along with his guide, Marcin Kezi. He's from Start Katowice, Keshi from the Start Gorzów Wielkopolski club. David Carrere just sorting things out for Eric Sung before they go. A little bit of extra re-maneuvering needed in this. It's the first 2 to go through, plus the next 2 fastest across these 2 races. So they're underway, 2 from 4. There is a way that they can all qualify, but just as we saw in the 5,000 meters final, where Yeltsin Jacques, or actually considering he isn't from Brazil, it would be Jacques, and his guide Nelson de Avila have just shot away again. And you remember, Jacques in that 5,000 meter final was leading for 4,800 meters before he was just overtaken by Kenya Kurosawa. and he didn't even get the silver medal at all. Wada just behind him in second place, who finished 4th in that 5,000 final. Eric Sang was 7th in it. Rogowski, who's come through the Polish system very well. 3 laps to go. Jacques is the 1,500 and 5,000 Paralympic champion. But even from that case, and he's been Pan Am champion in those distances too, there's a little that he might have learned perhaps from that 5,000 final, but it is a considerable lead that he holds right now for Brazil.
I think Jacques may have caught a few of the teams off guard. We've just seen the Kenyan Sang and his guide making a move. They know that they don't necessarily need to come first, just second. It's the top 2 that move on, and they did a good job just to maneuver just in front of Rogowski, and they now have Wada in their sights. The best way to make up distance is not to sprint. Sprinting uses quite a lot of energy. You just want to make that smooth acceleration and gradually close down that gap.
Well, Wada is doing a calm job at the moment in second place. He only needs to be second, of course. Yeltsin Jacques is going the more direct route. 2 laps to go, goes through in 1:52 with Wada in second spot, Sang in third, and Rogowski in 4th place, the championship debutant.
You can see right there, they're crossing at the top of that javelin runway, and the women doing the javelin have to make sure that they're not getting in their way. There's just so much going on at the moment, and you have to be paying attention and being able to take it all in, particularly for these men who are right now involved in quite a few tactical decisions they need to make in order to be in the position to get into that final.
The obvious thing to say is that Jacques, having had those great successes in Tokyo, really he's not a man who needs to take advice at all. But he's gone fast, he's gone bounding away. It's still a good advantage of around 40 meters over Wada, who is very content where he is, not expending as much energy in second place. But the bell is coming up for Yeltsin Jacques now, and his guide Adelson Diavila going through in 3:02, which is nice going. Wada with his guide Takumi Asebe in second, and now Rogowski going with his guide Marcin Kessi. So 4:04 and 4:12, 3rd and 4th in that first of the heats, and they look very much at the moment on course for that. Rogowski has gone well, but Jacques and Wada at the moment in different ways are in control.
There must be a lot going through Kessi, the guide of Rogowski, at the moment, because he's looking and he's realizing, okay, we're in 3rd, we're not in 2nd, we don't have an automatic qualifying spot. Perhaps he's trying to do the math and figure out if he's at least fast enough to get one of the next fastest places in the final. They have to make the decision, and if they have any chance at catching Wada, they have got to go now.
Well, the big battle really is for second place, and it's Rogowski chasing down Shinya Wada. There's no worry at all for Yeltsin Jacques. This would be a different story if it was a final, obviously, with the big prize at stake. But it is Jacques who's going to take this, and he'll take it in 4:12.85. Second will be Wada, and that will be it. Rest of the times that would make it to be too slow. Rogowski in 3rd, and Eric Sang in 4th place. It's Jacques and Wada who go through. The slowest time in terms of the fastest losers was 4:12.47, and this winning time here was slower than that. So Jacques and Wada did all they needed to do, and they will progress through to the final. Wada wasn't looking to exert himself terribly much. The former World Championship silver and bronze medalist. He didn't medal in 2019 in Dubai, but he had in the 4 previous World Championships, and he's been a triple Asian Games champion in 2014 in Incheon.
What's incredible right now is you can actually see Wada and his guide. They were still jogging on the track. They're just congratulating their teammates now, but they finished the race. They kept on jogging, and I wonder if part of that is just they've already started their recovery because they know that they have a big final coming next. But it's also shocking because sometimes these athletes finish the race and you think they're going to be exhausted, and yet they're not even breathing that hard.
Yep. Yeltsin Jacques took it away straight away. It was quality break clear this time, and there was nobody really looking to get him down. Wada will have been aware from his guide all the time, Takumi Asebi, that he had a nice gap behind him to third place. Top two to go through. No need for any further exertions. Yeltsin Jacques did feel it was worth tilting away strongly as he did in the 5,000 final. It's worked for him previously, didn't this time around in the 5,000 when he was in the gold medal slot for all but the final half lap and ended up taking the bronze. Let's see what he'll do in the final, because he is there. Yeltsin Jacques qualifies for 12.83. So too does Shinya Wada of Japan, which means all of those from the first heat have made it through. Certainly the first four have done.
Another example of the incredible fitness of these men. Jacques was there casually giving an interview after running a fairly quick 1500.
With a few visitors from Stuttgart, a few visitors, lots of visitors from the Netherlands. It's taken a while to put that flag together. Still very much in the opening exchanges in the field. Saskia Sokolov, you were seeing warming up earlier. She was going to take a throw a few minutes after that heat. It is a no throw for the European 100 and 200 champion, who started off in the javelin, and then the Serbian just had a sprint suggested to her. It's worked out very well. Might just help with the sprints and the javelin as well for her. And Noelle Roorda in second place for a lot of that first round.
Well, we've seen shot put, javelin, there's discus going on. We've had running, and now it's time to move to the wheelchair categories. It's the women's 1,500 metres, T54, and a lady who we've seen so far who's medalled twice already here in the 5,800, Manuela Schär of Switzerland. Eden Rainbow Cooper, 22 years of age, coached by David Weir and Jenny Archer. Tatiana McFadden, bronze here in the 800 metres already, 8 Paralympic golds, 13 World Championship golds for her. And Thea Bagula of Belgium, who took bronze in the 21 European Championships, and Zhu Xiaogyun of China, reigning world champion, and she won silver here. There is no Madison de Rosario, who was yet again pulled out after opting out of her 5,000 metre race a couple of days ago. So 5 to go. 3 3/4 laps. The T54, the strongest of the wheelchair categories. And it will be the first 3 out of the 5 in action that go through to the final. So this, in effect, the first of the semi-finals, with the second one coming up shortly afterwards, and it is Manuela Schär, who won gold in the 800 and silver in the 5,000, who's moved out to the front with Tatiana McFadden. And Zhu making her move down the outside and now taking up the lead. When they come over that finishing line, they'll have 3 laps remaining, and they're all in one big straight line at the moment.
The reason that they're all in a line is because if you are sitting in the draft of one of your competitors, essentially what happens is the person in the front is doing more work than you. You get about a 30% energy savings while you sit behind someone. So sometimes we will see the athletes take turns and share the work a little bit. Sometimes what you'll see is an athlete go to the front and they're there and they make that calculation, they take that risk. They want the position in the front more than they want the energy savings.
Well, there's a change at the front. Bayakuya has come all the way from the back and it's gone all the way to the front. So the Belgian athlete who won bronze at those European Championships in Big Gosh a couple of years ago has opted to move to the front and see if she can't maybe try and put a bit of space between everyone, but it hasn't worked out that way. It is the first three that go through. So with 2 laps remaining, 800 metres, it is Bayakuya who leads from Zhu in second, and Manuela Scher is in third position with Tatiana McFadden just sitting there towards the back. And I've no doubt at all that when it comes around to that final 400 metres, there will be a lot of pace put on compared to what we have at the moment.
I love seeing athletes make aggressive moves like the one that Bayakuya just did. So often when you have a big name like Manuela Scher, Tatiana McFadden, too many athletes will sit back and let them take control. She did not do that. She has gone right to the front. She has her own game plan and she is taking it to these world champions. And
that's the great thing about these type of races, is that at some point you've got to go in your own race and not worry about what everyone else is doing. And the mentality of that, it can be hard to do at times, but sometimes that's a life lesson you just have to learn. You might learn it the hard way on occasion, but Bayakuya at the moment is racing her race, and she leads at the front and she takes the bell. Zhu in second, Scher in third, McFadden in fourth, and it is Rainbow Cooper of Great Britain who's now moved 3 lanes wide and realises that she needs to make a move, and she's done just that. It's McFadden who's gone out to the front. It's Rainbow Cooper who's currently in second position at the moment. Now, she was at the Commonwealth Games in the silver last year in Birmingham, so she knows what it's like to get up there into those medal places. This one, not a medal event, but she needs to go through in the top 3, and at the moment the top 3 look pretty much set. McFadden, Rainbow Cooper and Manuela Scher are those 3. Rainbow Cooper just dropping back to third. Tatiana McFadden has just lengthened out that lead to around 5 in front. Scher realises she has her place covered, and it is Rainbow Cooper in third place. It's Zhu who's going to miss out and hope to go through as a class disqualifier. 3:34.13 is the time that McFadden has gone across the line in, and she'll be looking to try and improve on that bronze she took in the 800 metres. Maybe lift herself up into silver or gold when it comes to the main event in the final. Manuela Scher, though, has had a very good championship so far. McFadden takes the win in that one. 3:34.12 is the official time for Tatiana McFadden. 3:34.52 for Manuela Scher. And Rainbow Cooper in third place in the last of the automatic qualifiers in 3:34.81. And just as far as we know about McFadden and Manuela Scher, but just give us an idea about how good this young lady on the left of screen can be.
Well, speaking about aggressive moves from newcomers, that was amazing from Eden Rainbow Cooper. Again, an example of an athlete just taking chances. And actually, in the wheelchair categories, it's quite rare in wheelchair racing to see someone come onto the scene and dominate right from the start. And part of that is because it's not just about having the speed, it's not just about having the endurance. You have to have that racing brain, you have to have the tactics, and that takes years to develop. And part of that development is exactly what Rainbow Cooper just did. She read that race brilliantly. She made her move at exactly the right time. Now Manuela Scher, she's not panicking. She knows she's one of the veterans. She knows she has the speed to cover that move. She knows it's fine as long as she comes in top 3. But what a brilliant show of tactics by Rainbow Cooper to get herself into the final.
Well, Bayakuya went to the front. Sometimes you have to learn the hard way. I said that. She learned the hard way. She went from the back to the front, and she finished at the back. But that lady there just measured her pace all throughout. Tatiana McFadden, she qualifies through in first place along with Manuela Scher and Eden Rainbow Cooper. Zhu in fourth position and Bayakuya in fifth. Confirmation of the top 3 that automatically go through. Zhu has qualified as well, and we have one more heat to come in the coming minutes.
jumping throw at 46. She's improved her best mark. She's now at 39 meters, 3:49. It's a season best for Great Britain. Hurley Arnold.
Very busy morning. It's about to get even busier. We've got men's long jump action coming up as well, due to start in the next couple of minutes. That is T12. That is the medium visual impairment category. That's about 1 to 5% vision, and T11 is complete visual impairment, and then T13 is roughly 5 to 20%. And any higher than that, and you don't qualify. You saw, by the way, Roorda's second throw there a few moments ago in the javelin, 35.75. That's an improvement of 6 centimeters on her previous effort. Holly Arnold still leads from the opening round, 37.36. Action continuing in the T54, the fastest of the wheelchair racing classes. The physically strongest of the athletes. We've got 6 going in this, 4 of whom we've already seen in finals this week. Championship debut for Tian, but she's already featured in the 800 final. Catherine de Brunner, the world record holder, is in this, and there she is, off the back of 2 gold medals in a space of 24 hours for the first time in a global championships.
Heat 2 of the women 1500 meters, T54. Representing People's Republic of
So those are the
China.
6 in it,
Qian,
all
Yu
ready to go. So on the inside, Tian Juan, championship debut, 8th in the 800 meters final. Inside her, for Switzerland, wearing 2, the European champion over 815, Patricia Akers. Inside her, the reigning European champion over 405,000, 8th in the 805,000 here so far. Merle Menu, still only 18. Now the double world champion from the past 2 nights, Catherine de Brunner, 805,000. The reigning world 400 champion from 4 years ago. Now a debutant for Ireland from Crockwell in County Galway. Still 19 years old, Shauna Bouquet. And on the inside, from Mauritius, the 4-time African record holder, Naomi L. Fonts.
For the final that will take place tomorrow.
Fastest of the field this season, Catherine de Brunner with a 3:09.47. It's also the fastest of all time. World record set in Sharjah in February. So underway, Tian, Ekus, Menya, de Brunner, Bouquet and Alphonse. It's the first 3 going through to the final, plus the next 4 across the 2 heats. So there's a good chance for a few here. De Brunner making her way out to the front straight away. She's absolutely revitalized and changed her career so magnificently. And right at the start of her racing career, on the outside, Shauna Bouquet, World Junior 1500 meters champion in Knoxville in 2019 in Switzerland. She won the Dublin Women's Mini Marathon as well, wheelchair race, which is a huge event every year, around 30,000-40,000 taking part in that. Bouquet making a good move up in the outside. I was talking to James Nolan, the main Irish Paralympics coach and an Olympian in his own right in the 800 meters from a couple of Olympics ago, and they were saying that she'd come along to a talent spotting day a couple of years ago. They've developed her well. They've told her to take her time. She's out in front right now. That's not taking her time. It's her turn to the front. De Brunner second, 2.5 laps to go.
That I was not expecting. Catherine started the race, Catherine de Brunner, and she clearly wanted to be in the front. The problem was that Tian had the inside lane, so Catherine had to work quite hard to get there. Now, Bouquet, she went to the front. That was a fantastic aggressive move. The problem is she's realized, I don't want to be there anymore. I want to be back in the pack, but no one is letting her in. I think as the race distances shorten, you risk it too much by letting someone in. And right now, I can't tell if we're having a little bit of a conversation, but she's looking around, looking for a spot to get in. She's in a great position at the front of the pack, but she's on the outside. She's not getting a draft, and she's covering a longer distance.
2 laps to go. De Brunner is leading the way. Bouquet in second place for Ireland. Tian in third. Menya 4. In terms of the qualifying time, fastest loser time, 3:42.90 from Belgium's Leia Beerkula from the first heat. There is potential here. If they're all fast enough, that they could potentially all get through, because de Rosario is obviously still feeling ill or hasn't passed the fitness test. But at the moment, de Brunner's happy to take it up because she's beating all comers right now. She doesn't care what kind of race she has, because she's now a 3-time world champion. Bouquet's still on the outside. She's got a big tactical. It's slowed down a bit. Menya's a little bit boxed in, but she shouldn't necessarily worry about that, just on the outside. And right at the back is Noemi Alphonse as well, who we're also seeing in one of her first championships. The bell is coming now. De Brunner will take it with Bouquet in second. Now it's going to speed up.
At this point, de Brunner's feeling quite good. This probably hasn't been too taxing for her, and she knows anyone that makes a move at this point, she has that covered. She showed that she had the speed and the endurance in the 5,000. But you're right, the real race right now is to make this as fast a heat as possible so that all of these athletes can get through to that final.
Well, it's de Brunner who's leading the way. Big injection of pace. Bouquet slipped back a little bit, but if it's fast enough, they'll all go through. Now coming in the outside is Naomi Alphonse. She's taken her time to have a go. Tian Yachuan, on a championship debut, suddenly finds herself in second place, having not really featured up in the top before. Alphonse is still going well in third. Big sprint coming here. It's only the top 3 guaranteed, but I think in terms of time, they might all be okay. De Brunner's going to take it. Tian in second place. Akers of Switzerland third. 4th is Menya. 5th is Bouquet. And 6th at the back is Naomi Alphonse. I think the top 5 are definitely through. 3:41. That was quite slow. I think they're all okay. I think they'll all make it through to the finals. The mathematics of it all, because de Rosario pulled out, and because they were spread out a bit in that first heat. De Brunner winning it well, though. 3:41.60. And right now, she's just turning into a supreme athlete. And remember, she's a T53, so there's a bit more of an impairment, but in the longer distances, that kind of evens out a bit against the 54s. De Brunner, Tian and Akers, 1, 2, 3.
The difference between a T53 and a T54, a T54 has the full use of their torso, which makes a difference in wheelchair racing, because you can put all the power in your torso and all the power of your arms into each push, whereas a T53, they're primarily relying on just their arms. And the difference mostly shows in the start, and that's why at events 1,500 meters and beyond, the 53s and the 54s will race together. And as you can see right now, de Brunner just taking a little look on her inside. She wanted to have that pole position, but she had to wait to make sure she was clear of Tian. There are quite strict rules, and they have officials all around the track making sure that nobody is impeding anyone else in the race. But again, I'm so impressed with Bouquet and the way that she just went to the front and took it to it and tried to run her own race. And there she is at the back. She is sprinting because she knows if that time is fast enough, she can still get through.
And she has. De Brunner takes it. It's Tian in second place. It's Akers in third. Menya goes through in fourth. Bouquet goes through to the final in 5th spot. Naomi Alphonse misses out, unfortunately for her. But right now, Catherine de Brunner, well, maybe she's been taking a few tips from her fellow racing compatriots. Manuela Shah, Marcel Hug. Change of coach in recent seasons too. It's all benefited. Catherine de Brunner right now is the woman to beat. De Brunner, Tian, Akers, Menya, Bouquet are all through to the final.
So here we are back at the javelin. Holly Robinson of New Zealand. Women's javelin throw F46. Reigning Paralympic champion. 36-36 with her opener. She's in second position.
In the women's javelin throw F46, currently leading the event with a season best at 39.
I think she likes what she's seen.
Holly Arnold for Great Britain. Ooh, but for Slovakia, Saska Solokov.
38.97
39 meter, 64
is a new season best for Robinson. So here comes Arnold.
39 meter, 64.
Arnold upended, now in second place. Holly Robinson leads.
For South Africa.
Holly Arnold has an instant response. And what an instant response! That's heading up towards 40 meters. She's thrown 38.78 this season herself. She's been 1.5 meters short of that in the opening round. And well, what incentive, what better incentive could there be than to see your main rival overtake you and then yourself have the very next throw. The 4-in-a-row world champion Holly Arnold is, and she's back in the lead from that. 39.49. Robinson in second place.
Come on, ladies and gentlemen, let's show some support for our
And as you can see, in the past couple of seconds, while we've been watching this from a few moments ago, Saska has shot up. So suddenly, the Hollies are finding it heavy.
The track action continues. Two brilliant 1500 metres T54 women's events. We stick with the T54, but this, the men's 400 metre final. Hu Yang, who set a championship record in the heat,
54.
will go from lane 5.
Lane 1, representing Japan, Ikoma Tomoki.
Ikoma Tomoki of Japan, his lifetime best of 46.76 he's set this year. He's never been out of the heats in this event at a major championships before this final. Thailand have 2 going in this, and they've had a 1 for championships already, and we're on day 5. Red Konkrak, who was 5th in the 5,000, goes in lane 2. Dai Young Kyung, who took bronze in the Paralympics in Tokyo, will go from lane 3. Nathan Maguire of Great Britain, who was 3 places behind Dai in 6th in Tokyo. Lifetime best of 45.78. The man who set the championship record in the heat of 44.45 is Hu Yang of China. The second of the ties, Athawat Pang Nur, who won his heat. He took silver in Tokyo. He won gold in the 100 at the Tokyo Paralympic Games. Daniel Sibley was second in his heat. He's won bronze here over 5,000 already at these championships. Didn't make it out of the heats in Tokyo a couple of years back. And Zhang Ying, who finished 3rd in his heat, will go out wide in lane 8.
Of the men, 400 meters, T54.
Koma in 1, Konkrak in 2, Dai in 3, Maguire in 4, Hu in 5, Pang Nua in 6, Sibri in 7, and Zhang in lane 8. And away they go. This is the fastest of the wheelchair categories, the T54, and already moving up very fast on Daniel Sibri is Pang Nua of Thailand. He's gone out into a lead and already going up past the man in lane 8 from China, Zhang Ying. He has sped away as Athawat Pang Nua, who won his heat, but really coming into his own now. The man who won his heat and set a new championship record, Hu Yang of China, is in there as well. It's currently Pang Nua who leads, with Hu in second place, and that has just switched around, looking very good indeed and strong. It's Nathan Maguire who's trying to hold off Dai of China. Can he do that? That's a race amongst itself, but way out in front, it's Hu of China. It's a case of how long he's going to win by. 45.68, so it doesn't break the record that he's set in the heat, but Hu takes the gold medal. 45.68 the time for him. Well, Pang Nua tried to set an early pace. He tried to move out quick and quell the fire of that man, Hu Yang. It wasn't to be. But it's China who take first. Thailand who takes second through Pang Nua. 46.23 his time.
The shot there just shows the difference in the gloves that the athletes use. So what you want is you want something that's molded to your hand so it feels like you. It also has to be something that is quite rigid and will transfer all of your power. And the other thing as well is that you need to make a good connection with those rims. You don't want to risk slipping, particularly not when you are accelerating as they're doing right now. If you miss even one push, 2 is even worse. What you're going to do is you're going to slow down that acceleration, the time it takes for you to get top speed, and that has huge implications on the rest of your race.
Well, the upper body strength of these athletes is quite remarkable. Never a day goes past when I watch this when I think, how on earth do they manage to do that?
You can see the action there and the way their whole body is coordinated. And it's a great shot. This is how they turn. Coming off that corner, you don't want to waste the push. You don't want to waste the push by turning, so they hit their compensator. And we just missed it out of screen there, but he's putting so much power in. That front wheel is bouncing.
Yeah, Hu was really motoring, and the front wheel was up in the air like he was doing a wheelie. Hand in the air as he goes across the line. Deserved victory. He set it all up with a championship record in the heat. He may not have broken it again, but he sent a message out, and he sent a message out with around 200 metres remaining in this one as well, that he wasn't to be beaten. It's China who pick up first and third. Dai Ying Quang, bronze medalist in Tokyo. He's also a bronze medalist here. Silver to Athawat Pang Nua. And Hu Yang, championship record in the heat, has a gold medal to add to it. He's the champion in the men's 400 metres T54.
We've got another final coming in the field. It is the men's long jump final, T12 medium visual impairment category. So there's 12 in this, some with guides. And there are those who can elect to go without if they so desire.
We watched them start their warm-up almost half an hour ago, and they're only just starting the competition now, but it's great to get a little bit of behind the scenes just to see the amount of preparation that goes into setting yourself up on the runway. It actually starts several hours ahead of when we actually see them take to the long jump pit.
And as you've said, from your example, you'll be up 4 hours before your event. So if you have a 9 a.m. start, as it is here, to avoid the heat, and I suspect maybe to avoid the Tour de France a little bit as well, that means if they're following your schedule, it's a 5 a.m. start for the 9 a.m. athletes then.
It is. I mean, you want to get up early because you want to be able to have a good breakfast. You need it to digest. You need to make sure you're fully awake. And there's a lot that goes into it beyond those few moments that we see in a 100-meter race or those jumps that we see on the track.
Well, we've got the defending champion in this, in the form of Donia Saliev. That championship record is 7:44, so close to the world record, which has been standing 14 years. This is Daiki Ishiyama of Japan, who is second in the draw. So Alex Njeru, we should have seen first, but we have not. So he does not start. Here's the champion, Donia Saliev from Uzbekistan. That's 7:44, 3 centimeters off Matthias Schroeder's world record from 2009. Kamil Aliyev will be expected to see quite high as well from his Tokyo glory. Andreas Walser of Germany. A nation that has always produced magnificent jumpers, so no difference here. Tobias Jonsson, a regular major championship medalist. Good sprinter as well in this day. Brian Egson of Kenya. He starts off, he's a 6:28 man in his career. For Malaysia, Wong Kar Ji. Sweden's second representative here is Olof Ryberg. For Argentina, Fernando Vasquez, 693 this year. So he is a big candidate in this. The Paralympic champion, Amir Khosrovani, 7:21 in Tokyo. And Said Najafzadeh of Azerbaijan, who won Paralympic bronze in Tokyo in 2021. The silver medalist, Lena Savon, is not competing in this final. Speaking of finals, here's another one.
Women's 400 metres T20 final. That sees the world and championship record holder, Brianna Clark, who's also the world and
54. There has been some action on the field. 7 meters 75 for Elizabeth Rodriguez, Brazil. It's a
Julia Schulia, European champion, silver medalist in 2019 in Dubai and also in 2020, so she'll have her hopes set after claiming a double gold in 2018 in Berlin and in Bydgoszcz in 2021. Can she add a gold at a World Championships, an upgrade from a silver?
Next final is on the track, the women's 400 meters.
Kano of Japan will go from lane 1, the 21-year-old.
Representing Japan, Kano Nina.
Lifetime best of 59.86. This her first major championship, so maybe a few nerves. This the intellectual impairment category. This lady was silver in the 2019 World Junior Championships, and she took bronze in Tokyo the following year. Yadinia Felix Barboza. This lady knows a thing or two about winning. The former European champion, Karina Pime. Bronze 4 years ago in Dubai. A lady with a lifetime best of 56.18, which she'll be hoping to hit. Running from lane 4, Yulia Shulia of Ukraine.
Lane 5, representing Ecuador.
We've mentioned about youth and experience. Here's the youth, 17 years of age, Mayeli Minda of Ecuador. Gold in the past two Paralympics, gold in 2017 in London. Also the Parapan American Games champion in 2019. It is the world and championship record holder, Brianna Clark. In lane 7 of Poland, Justyna Franciszek, who was a bronze medalist in the last European Championships in her home country in Bydgoszcz. Two from Ecuador going in this. Lizenshela Angulo, 19 years of age. Her compatriot Minda is 17. Both at their first major championships. Intellectual impairment category, this one. Women's 400 metres. 8 to go, but only one can pick up that gold. Cano in 1, Felix Barbosa in 2, Paim in 3, Shulia in 4, Minda in 5, Clark in 6, Franciszek in 7, Angulo in lane 8. Well, Yulia Shulia looked very good indeed in qualifying, and she'll be one of the favourites in this, the Ukrainian. But Brianna Clark, never to be underestimated, the double Paralympic champion and former world champion, has absolutely flown past two on the outside of her, and she leads heading down that back straight. She is looking very strong indeed. It's the last 200 metres in the 400 where athletes begin to tighten up, but it's Brianna Clark who's currently out in front. The pace has slowed somewhat on what she took out. Felix Barbosa was in second, but Shulia has come past, and well, Shulia looking very strong indeed and very composed on the inside, and Brianna Clark has some work to do. It's Shulia who leads, but Clark has come back at her, and Clark has absolutely flown away at the 50-metre mark. She's going to hold on, she's going to take gold, she's going to regain that championship, and a time of 55.11, which is a new world record for Brianna Clark, breaking the mark she set in Tokyo 2020 by 0.07 of a second. Well, she's flying like an aeroplane, and she was doing that on the track, especially in that opening 200 metres. An absolutely wonderful run, and around the 50-metre mark, she put the afterburners on. She went away from that lady there, Yulia Shulia, who had to settle for silver. And what a run indeed. And Karina Paim, the former European champion from Portugal, picks up the bronze medal. Luda and Vigo love it. Why wouldn't they? Brianna Clark, absolutely sensational. What a run. What an athlete.
That was a masterclass from Clark on how to run a 400 meters. Now, I've run a few 400 meters, and I remember sitting in a call room once beside a competitor. It was Katrin Green, and I noticed on her hand she had written out a list of numbers, and what they said something along the lines of, first 100 meters, 95%, next 50, 80%. Next 100. I mean, I'm making this up. Don't copy my pacing right now. But the point is that getting that 400 meters right is so difficult. And you know what? I was actually worried for just a moment when you saw the move that Shuliar made.
But watch the speed she goes out at. She goes really quick, and she heads past Franciszek on the outside within the first 30 meters, and then down that back straight in the second 200 is where she stretched out. And when you get to that last 200, you can see Shulia heading past and chasing after Brianna Clark, who's out in front of her. And when they get to the bend and they head around that 200, Shulia has work to do. She does take Clark, though. She gets to her with 100, but look at that. When there's 50 to go, Brianna Clark just says, hey, I'm out of here. I'm going. And over the space of 50 metres, she's put at least 10 metres on Shulia, who's picked up the silver medal. Now, if that isn't pace, then I don't know what is. Absolutely wonderful work by Brianna Clark.
And that was exactly it. When Julia made her move at 300 meters, I was thinking, oh, what does Clark have left? And she wasn't worried at all. She set out so quickly. It was like she was almost not slowing down, just gathering herself around that second bend, and then absolutely blasted down the last 100.
Karina Pine appreciated it, giving her a hug then. Pine picked up the bronze medal. A season best for Julia, who comes in second position, adding to that European gold. She has Brianna Clark. She's the Paralympic champion. She's the world champion. She holds the championship record, which is also now the world record. She takes gold.
Sensational happenings across the board. Another world record. Sokolov taking the lead for Serbia in the women's javelin. Holly Arnold trying to get a title back. And that's the first throw beyond 40 meters today by anybody. That is definitely the lead for Holly Arnold. Aiming for her 5th world title in a row. It would be a 6th world championship in which she would get a medal. And as was the case in Tokyo, the Hollies are being divided right now, but this time by Saskia Sokolov, and it's Holly Arnold in the gold medal position, season's best, 41.06. Arnold leading the way, 5th round just beginning. Sokolov in 2nd place, Holly Robinson currently in 3rd for New Zealand, and Gasheva 4th, and the European champion Rueda down in 6th place, the Paralympics silver medalist. Little glance at the bottom of your screen, a reminder that we're coming back here in a year's time for the Paralympic Games. Oh, and the Olympics as well. So that javelin really is hotting up. And it's a reasonably late start for the long jump. What that means is that it's going to continue on very deep into this session. So we're going to see a lot of it later on. Alex Njerenyu of Kenya was not in the starting lineup. This is his teammate Brian Egerson, who's a 6'28" man. He's a 23-year-old. A reminder, if you're coming to France in the next few days, well, do come along. The tickets are €10 each. If you're going to be in France but not near Paris, it is live on TV here. Egerson going for it. Oh, my word, I've not seen that before. He somersaulted out of the pit. He got through the takeoff area perfectly well. It's a white flag for the effort, a 9.9 for the flip.
It's definitely a unique landing, and I have to say, as a long jumper, we have all done it. You get sand everywhere and occasionally on your face as well.
Superb. Well, there's a bit of gymnastics there if he wishes to compete in that. That is perfect in terms of the longer takeoff area. They will measure from the edge of the foot outline in the chalk to the landing area in the sand. It is a visual impairment category, so because of that, you're given extra leeway in terms of the takeoff, which, to be honest, is very, very fair. That was his first attempt in this long jump final. Men's 400 meters T38. Coordination impairment. These are the strongest of the coordination impairment athletes. The category of least impairment. Here's our new world 100 meters champion, Jaden Blackwell, for the United States. Lane 4 for Iraq. 4th in the 400 meters in the Paralympic Games in Tokyo. That was his big championship debut, Ali Al-Rakabi. In lane 5, a championship debut for the South Australia under-18 champion over 800 and 1500, able-bodied that is, from Adelaide, Angus Hinksman. In lane 6, for Mexico, the Paralympic champion, Jose Tassani. And in lane 7, for Belgium, from the White Star AC Club, the 16-year-old championship debutant, Gilles Rouet. So Blackwell, Al-Rakabi, Hinksman, Tassani and Rouet. It is the top 3 to go through. A championship debut to remember for Jaden Blackwell. The start of a fantastic career. He's only 19. Here is the Paralympic champion, Tassani. The world 200 meters champion. The Pan Am bronze medalist. His career has exploded since Lima, no doubt about that. So Blackwell, Al-Rakabi, Hinksman, Tassani and Rouet. It's the top 3 who are going to go through. Blackwell starting really well. You can see he must have had some speed as a high school American footballer. As an athlete, he is very useful. Al-Rakabi, the 4th placer in Tokyo, going well also in lane 4. He's in 2nd spot right now. Rouet, the debutant from Belgium, the man from Brussels, going quite well in the outside, but nobody can keep with Jaden Blackwell right now. He was so fast in the 100, setting a championship record in the heats of 10:87. He might fancy something similar in the 400 meters. This is going to be very fast. It's Jaden Blackwell coming through for the United States. It's him against the clock now. He's going to win it. 49.33 is the world record. He's just outside. Tassani takes 2nd, Al-Rakabi 3rd. It's Hinksman in 4th place. Rouet from Belgium looks to have pulled up, but Blackwell, that was absolutely stunning. What a display. What a future this man has. And Tassani, the Paralympic champion, surely in the past 48 hours he's been recalculating the quality of the rest of the field, because Blackwell has brought the average way up. It is a new America's record of 49.61, and it was so close to Cheetah's world record from the World Championships in 2011 of 49.33. Awesome stuff. And we've still got the world record holder, a Paralympic champion from the 37s to come in the 2nd heat. This is impressive stuff.
Well, the fact that Cheetah's world record has stood since 2011 just goes to show how quick it was, because most Paralympic records don't last that long, but Blackwell absolutely blasted out of those blocks. We know he's fast. We've seen him in the 100, and I haven't seen him run a 400 yet, so the question is always, how will he fare as the race carries on? Down the back straight, his running is just beautiful. I don't have much to add to that because the picture just speaks for it. But there wasn't even a difference in his stride as he came round. He just kept that flow and just kept that rhythm right the way through the race. We don't even see the other athletes in the picture at this moment. And I like it too. He's running a very aggressive race. You can tell he still has a time on his mind. He's so focused. And actually, just as the race ended, he went to have a look at that time, and as good as it was, he almost looked disappointed he didn't get that world record.
It is an America's record. He's 0.28 out. Well, you know what? That must have been the game plan. There goes Rouet, unfortunately, in the closing straight, just as Blackwell was finishing. Rouet going with 50 to go. That's unfortunate. He is back up. I can see he's gone through the mix zone. Blackwell takes the win, 49.61, a new America's record. Tassani 2nd, 52.81. Al-Rakabi in 3rd, 54.48. A lifetime's best for Angus Hinksman. He's got a good chance. He's reigning double as South Australian champion. And remember, it is coordination impairment, and whenever Hanlon was with us before, the body can just shut down. You're talking about cerebral palsy, and a number of related impairments, and unfortunately Rouet does not finish, but he's 16 years old and he will live to fight another day. And for him, here is to more successful championships to come. So Blackwell, Chisani, Rakabi, Al Rakabi are all through. Well, here's to future successes for Gilles Rouet and future successes for his favourite football team. It's Anderlecht.
Oh, well. Big Nico Capel fan the stands there. Of course, the German shot putter of quite some fame.
Women's
Well, this
T20.
is Lishangela Angelo, lane infringement there, so she is disqualified. Didn't finish in the top 3 places, but it is a disqualification for running out of her lane. So at the bottom there you see disqualification for Angula. Unfortunately, sometimes these things happen, and rule 18.5 section A is if you run out of your lane, you will be disqualified because you are shortening in distance between yourself and the finishing line. Men's long jump, T12 final. One of the later field events to get going in the morning sessions in these championships. Didn't get underway until around 15 minutes ago. When the athletes were introduced. You can see that windsock there in the foreground, and on the field over the back there, negligible with the wind as it has been throughout these championships.
The next one on the runway will be for Uzbekistan, Buziakon Ergasheva.
Azerbaijan well represented. First jump of Najat Fancy, the reigning European champion, who's last to go in the opening round.
You can just see in the background there, the officials are using a mechanical tape measure, and that's because they adjust where they take that measurement from to where the foot took off from. And that's one of the nuances of T11s, as it is a visual impairment class. It can be quite hard to judge where that board is. You can see the chalk just flying off there as he got into the takeoff zone. And that was a great jump. He took off quite far back from the takeoff board. Sometimes the jumps are hard to judge because the markings on the pit don't quite correlate to where they took off from.
Yeah, the median visual impairment category, so that larger board there, and just missed the official then, who was actually just using the dustpan brush to just make sure it's all clean there. 6.99 for Najat Fancy, so he's in the bronze medal position, just below that 7 metre mark. His best of lifetime is 7.11.
Lots going on, and that includes the men's 400 metres T38 and Heat 2.
Jaden Blackwell then with a new America's record in the opener. Let's see what we can get in this, because there are some decent athletes in this one too. 3 fastest go through, next 2 fastest advance through to the final. So we'll call it for what it is, semi-final number 2. There are 5 set to go in this one.
Heat 2 of the men 400 meters T38.
Nick Mayhew,
Is the bronze medalist
who won the gold
representing United
in this event in the T37 category at the Paralympics in Tokyo. Reclassified now to T38, which is the least of the coordination impairment. Zachary Gingras, bronze in Tokyo. silver in the Pan American Games in 2019. Mohamed Fahad Cheetah. Gold medalist of the Paralympics in 2008 in Beijing, in 2012 in London, and he also took gold in Christchurch back in 2011 in the Worlds. Ryan Medrano, the 26-year-old, lifetime best set this year, will go from lane 6. And Andreas Beros of Cyprus, who competed in the 100 metres already at these championships, will go in lane 7. Mayhew in lane 3 has already taken bronze here in the 100 metres at these championships. Made a name for himself in Tokyo in the T37 category. Now racing as a T38. So we did see in the last race that when those athletes do tighten up in the coordination impairment, there can be issues heading into the last 100 metres. It's a very hard race itself, the 400 metres. Doesn't matter whether you're able-bodied, in a wheelchair, coordination impairment, whatever it may be. It is a tough race. It is tough to do a 400 metres if you're not in a race. But these guys, they are stupendous.
Set.
And they're away at the first time of asking, and already up on the outside, Ryan Medrano of the United States has just flown past Beros on the outside. Mayhew, he might look like he's back in one of the last positions at the moment, but he's making up ground because he's on the inside lane. And it is Medrano who leads at the moment from Gingras, who's just moved in front, and Mayhew is there as well. And Gingras of Canada is running a superior race. He is 150 metres to go, and he took out in the lead past Ryan Medrano, and he's looking very stable indeed as they come into the last 100. It's the Americans in second and third, but it's Canada who lead the North Americans as he heads towards the line. Zachary Gingras, he's just having a look around and slowing up, but he's going to go across in a time of 51.50 seconds. Mayhew and Medrano across in second and third position, but Zach Gingras, a wonderful run. He timed it with around 150 metres to go. He just came up on the inside shoulder of Medrano. It is the first three he goes through automatically, so no real issues. But my thing that he looked so good about, and he looked so calm, is when he came down with around 30 or 40 to go, he was already having a look around to his right and his left. To me, that tells me that he's looking very fit and he's feeling very calm, and he had a lot left in the tank. And when you're running 51.50 up against the likes of Nick Mayhew and Ryan Medrano, who have also gone through, then you're looking pretty good, Steph Reed.
Yeah, I thought, when you're looking around, it's a good sign that you kind of have that presence of mind and you're not quite in your top gear just yet. All of the athletes, they got off quite hard. And that's what you want to do in a 400. You want to start strong, get into your stride, and then make that decision as to whether or not you can start shutting it down. Medrano definitely took it out, but here you can see Gingras he took his time and slowly started increasing that speed, which is what you want to do. When you have a quick change of pace, that can be quite draining in terms of the energy. That's Gingras there, just slowly building up, coming up on Medrano's inside. Gingras also has the advantage of that he can see the field there. There was also a bit of a look around from Mayhew, just checking to see where his position is. And the thing is, we don't know if these athletes are kind of holding their cards tight. We haven't quite seen what they can do, and I cannot wait for this final. Yeah,
Gingras, just before that, around the 15-metre mark, he'd had a look across to his left and his right, and he had a little sneaky look then at the clock as he went across the line. He didn't look too perturbed by what he saw. So it tells you that he's feeling very confident in the way he's running, and he's expecting to do something like that, because an athlete at times, when they do come up with something which is above and beyond their expectations, you'll be able to tell from the look on their face. But he looked very calm then when he looked down at the clock and liked it, but he'll move on to the final. Gingras in first position. Mayhew and Medrano go through. Cheetah also goes through as the fastest qualifier in fourth place. The man who won gold way back in Beijing in 2008 and London 2012 is through to yet another final.
Excellent crowd. Biggest crowd we've had for a morning session. It is capacity close to 20,000. They've been enthralled by a lot, including this excellent women's javelin F46. Saskia Sokolov has become a main candidate in that, with that superb throw. That's seen her barge away alongside Holly Arnold and Holly Robinson. Narbelis Murillo of Venezuela. A serious effort heading out towards 40 meters. Saskia Sokolov has never before won a javelin championship medal, but she has now lifetime best 39.96. Holly Arnold with the only throw over 40 meters, and she is the world champion again. Holly Arnold claims her 5th world title in a row. Saskia Sokolov, the European 100 and 200 meter champion, claims the silver with a lifetime best. Maria of Venezuela gets the bronze, and Holly Robinson, the Paralympic champion, outside the medals in 4th place. That is astonishing.
Ce soir, DJ Abdel sera là avec nous, ça va être exceptionnel. Je sais pas si les plus jeunes connaissent, mais en tout cas nous.
Well, I have to say that's quite something.
Abdel, ça va être un truc de fou, ça va nous rappeler notre jeunesse.
We were hoping to see quite a few lead changes, but the top 3 were not what we predicted.
Salayev in the men's long jump is leading this. Dania Salayev, the 4th placer in the Paralympic Games in Tokyo. Egerson in 4th spot for Kenya.
L'organisation de cet après-midi, le déroulé en tout cas, donc j'espère que vous serez avec nous. Pour réouverture des portes, ce sera à partir de 16h.
You can see there he was just given a little bit of advice from his assistant on the landing. Maybe that is his technique there. The reason why he is jumping forward is that you want to make sure that you definitely are not falling backwards. And as a T11, sometimes it can be a little bit hard to sight where the landing is going to be. So actually, and often you have to come up with innovative solutions, and sometimes technique will deviate from what you normally see, but you have to go with what works for you.
Championship debut for him, a lifetime best of 6.96. He's only, right now, 3 centimeters off the medals and Najafadze. This is Kaji Wong of Malaysia. Asian Para Games to come. His nation also competing in the ASEAN, the Southeast Asian Para Games, which traditionally are every 2 years off the back of the able-bodied equivalent, but they had a massive interruption of 4 or 5 years, sadly. Anyway, look at that! Look at that! Well, he's used the chalk area very well. That'll be a white flag. He's looks to have gotten a good distance there. We'll try not to be too distracted by the markers because obviously they don't come into play. It's a different measuring system for the T11s and the T12s because of the visual impairment.
So you can see there the foot placement on the board. The athletes in the T11 or the T12 classes, they get a meter takeoff board, and the measurement happens from wherever their foot lands, not from the front of that board.
6:48 puts him 9th, but he needs just another few centimeters to be into the final 8 and to get 3 more attempts.
The officials there are working hard to make sure that pit is as flat as possible, because it's really important when you're trying to be accurate when you're taking the measurement of where the body's made its imprint.
It looks like cement, doesn't it? Because they mark it so flat, and I've seen them working on it, and they do put a lot of effort into it. As Olaf Rayberg has some work to do, the man from Sweden. Season best with his opener. He's going to have to go a bit more.
Well, it might look like cement, but you certainly would not want to be jumping on that. They actually you have to be really careful about how you prepare that pit, because as you're landing, there are so many forces that go through your body. And sometimes you'll get to a pit, and if it hasn't been dug out properly, you can see there it's smooth. I mean, that is bunker quality sand. And it's not that it doesn't feel nice to land on it, but it makes a difference when it's that smooth.
This sounds like a really silly question, but is there a particular type of sand they use? Because that is exceptionally smooth to get in there. What I mean is it's almost grit-free in the way that they put it in there.
I have to say, yeah, you will find a variety of qualities of sand. Sometimes it will be grittier, but often when you come to these championships, this is what I would call bunker quality sand, or the kind of sand you would expect on, a pristine, beautiful beach.
Well, 5.99 for Roberg. He doesn't improve. He stays in 11th position.
And this the man Vasquez in 8th, who right now has got the silver medalist from 4 years ago in Dubai, one position below him, Wong Ka-ji, who won that silver in his global championship debut. And we may have a scalp in this straight away. Depends what Vasquez of Argentina does here. Aliyev, 6.57. It's worth pointing out, won the bronze in Dubai. Then Vasquez, 6.54 in 8th. Then Wong, 6.48, the silver medalist from Dubai, who currently is going out. And Tobias Jonsson, who's a regular European medalist at the very least, 10th, looks like he's going out as well. A solid effort from Vasquez. I mean, Jonsson finished 5th in Dubai, so it's at the moment a real turnover in what we saw 4 years ago in the last World Championships.
I feel like that's becoming a bit of a theme. No longer can you come and almost comfortably predict who's going to win. We're at the point now where these events are getting so competitive that anything can happen within that final.
Vasquez does not improve. That is 6.38. So the women's 100 meter is about to resume. This is T37. It is coordination impairment. It is the second strongest of the 4 standing categories. And we've got a plethora of champions in this. And all of these you've seen in finals already this week. Including in the center lane, the new world 400 meters champion. So we start off in lane 3 in this 100 meters heat. Anais Angeline of Mauritius finished 4th in the long jump final here, her best ever finish. In lane 4 for South Africa, bronze in the 400 meters in Dubai 4 years ago, and also in Turkey at the Paralympic Games, Cheryl James. In lane 5 for Colombia, the new world 400 meters champion on her championship debut, Karen Palameke. In lane 6 for China, the reigning Asian world and Paralympic 100 meters champion, retaining her long jump crown here, Wen Jiaoyan. And in lane 7 for Ukraine, 4th in the 400 meters final here, it is Alina Terek for Ukraine. Actually, it was very tight between her and Cheryl James in that. James was 4th and Terek just behind. So it's the top 3 to go through to the final tomorrow night, plus the next 2 fastest. Palameke, sensational in the 400. When the reigning champion. James, the world and Paralympic bronze medalist. This will be interesting. Angeline in 3, James 4, Palameke 5, Wen 6, Terek in lane 7. Standing start for Palameke. Way the first time of asking. Palameke out like a shot, and James too, and here goes Wen Zhaoyan, the long jump champion. Palameke is showing a class now. This is a great clash between these two. Is Palameke ahead of Wen? Palameke 13.27. Palameke set the world record in Knoxville in May. Wen holds the championship record from a win in Dubai. They were neck and neck all the way through in the final 30 meters there. They are both through. They are both showing their morning medal. That was tremendous. It was really tight with the naked eye. I just thought it was Palameke. From our view, just slightly behind the finish line. Palameke has been given at 13.27. At 12.93 for her a couple of months ago. A very impressive world record, a fantastic first championship for her.
Wow, what a preview of what hopefully is to come in the final. It was interesting just to watch when, as they were coming down the line, that tension between I want to win this and yet I want to be sensible. Now, in this category, you can choose whether or not you want to start with blocks. It's up to you. Sometimes it can enhance your start, sometimes it can't. And just, yeah, right there, that's exactly the tension I'm talking about. She wanted to win, and yet she knows that she has to come back the next day. And actually, you mentioned that we've already seen a lot of these women in finals. It's tough to keep coming back.
Yeah, some of these are going in 4 events. Anna Sangeline is going in 4. And Wen previously won 4 golds at the Asian Games. That was 2014 in Incheon, leading for a lot of it. And then Palameke just brushes her out. And it's gone down to thousands. They've both been credited with the same time. Well, the photo finish has gone the Colombians' way. Only just. Wen didn't dip, but it's not the final. She didn't need to. She was going through anyway. This really puts it up to the rest.
Now, if you look these results up online, you won't see reaction times. And again, that's just because it's optional whether or not you want to use the blocks, so they don't turn any of the system to measure the pressure on.
Palameke and Wen both through, 13.27, James as well, and due to the mathematics of it all, Anissa Angeline also progresses from Mauritius in 4th place. Alina Turek, she will have to wait. I just have to say one thing, the wind speed there was plus 0.4, and I don't think I've seen it go above or below +2 or -2, which is really unusual. It's been very calm in Paris all week, and it's a somewhat open stadium. Certainly the north end and the south end, you've got the roof coming around, but there is room for a breeze to come through, although there are trees on the south end.
Well, in a positive way, there's no complaining, because it means you don't have to worry too much about looking for that when you are commentating on a race or looking at a jump.
These are the yellow jackets you like to see. Absolutely crammed today. They've got the bottom 2 tiers absolutely full in this near side. So we go back to the men's long jump. It is T12, the reigning world champion, but he finished 4th in Tokyo at the Paralympic Games. Saliev going out to 7:30. His championship record from Dubai is 7:44. He's only 4 centimeters clear of Khosravani of Iran, the Paralympic champion. This is a big battle between the reigning global title holders. It is a white flag, but a slightly agonized reaction from the Uzbek Doniyor Saliev. He might have fancied a little bit more. It's perfect conditions for it. The sun out, barely a breeze.
You can see there the height that he generates off the board and the way he's cycling his legs and reaching out. I mean, that looked huge, and the crowd agreed with me because they erupted when he finished that jump.
He has used the board perfectly. Saliev is now very, very happy with it. 7:44 is his championship record for when he won gold 4 years ago, he's bettered it. He's equaled the world record from 14 years ago. Saliev leads by a long way. The world record has been matched. And Saliev is primed for the title again.
47, that's his mark. He needs a third attempt in the men's long jump T12.
It's game on between him and Khosrovani now, without any doubt at all. Brilliant hang time in the air. Exquisite takeoff. And he punched through the air superbly.
You know it's a good jump when he out-jumps the cameraman. It's just that moment where they're hanging in the air and it almost looks like gravity does not apply to him.
I honestly thought it was an anguished reaction from him at first. Maybe there was a little bit of emotion being exhaled. Aliev, in contrast, who won bronze in the last World Championships in Dubai, finds himself down in 6th spot, 6:57. That's still a season's best. He's used the board well. He's a 7:44 jumper normally. That's his best of all time.
So the challenge for Aliev right now and for the rest of the men is that only 8 will carry on in this final. After the first 3 rounds, and we're in the 3rd round at the moment, only the top 8 can move on and get their 3rd jump. At the moment, he's sitting in 6th, so he can be reasonably confident he will at least get another 3 attempts to try and add on a few more centimeters.
Well, the long jump will continue, as will the second semi-final in the women's 100 metres T37 coordination impairment category. Back to the long jump shortly. Paralympic, who holds the world record, and Wen, 1st and 2nd in the opening heat. This one will have a home favourite for them to cheer on. That lady on the inside there in lane 3 of France, Mandy Françoise Ali, who was in the long jump yesterday. Won gold in this event back in 2012, silver in 2016 and bronze at the last Paralympic Games, and she took bronze in this in 2019 as well.
Silver medalist in the last Paralympic Games representing the United States of America.
Jaylene Roberts from Tacoma, Washington, silver in Tokyo 2020. Will go in lane 4. Jiang Fenfen of China, silver medalist back in 2019, took bronze behind Roberts in Tokyo 2020. And Liesl Gals of South Africa, 24 years of age. She was 5th in Tokyo. And in lane 7, Osona Campbell of Jamaica does not start. So only 4 to go. Jaylene Roberts, season best of 13:52. The best of the 4 who are to go this season. So silence is called for. And away they go, and Roberts got away to a good start, as did Jiang Fenfen next to her. Mandy Françoise Ali struggling a little bit. Jaylene Roberts, though, who's going to take it in a time of 13.09 seconds, and that is a new championship record. Jaylene Roberts, very fast indeed. There was no slowing down for her. She showed her hand straight away. Jiang Fenfen in 2nd position, and Mandy Françoise Ali going through in 3rd. Those 3 automatically qualifying, but Jaylene Roberts, boy, she looked like she was doing it so easy because she was so far out in front. You suspected she might just slow up a little bit, but she went for that championship record that was held by Wenji Yan, who went in the opening heat. She set that 4 years ago in Dubai. And it was Yang Fen Fen who got out to the better of the starts, but Jaylene Roberts there around that halfway mark, she really stretched out, and she was 5 meters in front when she went across. She has a look across to her left, and 13.09 you quite clearly see, but well, they all got away to a good start in fairness. But it was Yang Fen Fen who got away quicker, but Roberts, she did her homework.
Yeah, it's interesting to see they have the option at the start as to whether or not they want to use blocks or if they want to have different implements, and Yang was able to get across quickly, not using the blocks, whereas Robert chooses to. But what's also so impressive about this performance is that Jaylene has just come back from winning second in the long jump last night. So you can imagine she got back pretty late last night. She will have had to have gotten up pretty early this morning, and she has still come out and set a championship record. And sometimes we forget these records are done under not the greatest amount of sleep.
Well, maybe we should get a few tips off her about how to go to bed late and get up early. Jaylene Roberts championship record, Yang Fen Fen, season best for her, season best for Francois Ali as well. And also, Lisa Gauss goes through because there were only 4. She goes through as a fastest qualifier.
Well, it is game on there, absolutely. Just when you thought that first heat was sensational, the second one, even more so. If you are visiting France over the next few days, if you can't get to Paris, it is live on television in France. It's on L'Equipe TV, one of the main sports channels here, all day, every day. But you're welcome here. Come up and pay a visit.
For the United States of America, Hagen Landry.
Saliev still leading that equal world record of 7:47. Wong, who finished in second place at the last World Championships in Dubai, struggling to stay in this.
13 meters,
Vital moment coming.
in this event.
Needed to get that plumb on the board. He's in 8th position right now.
Will he improve? 12 meter 86.
Just hanging on in there. When we saw him earlier in the competition, he was outside the top 8.
Next athlete in the circle will be for Germany, Nico Capel.
Season's best is 6 meters 60. It has gone in his career half a meter beyond that. Such a brilliant championship debut for him in Dubai. 6:60 equals his season's best. Stays in 8th. There's still a few who can go and who can overtake him. And actually, that now puts him 7th above Vasquez. He is almost safe. But Olaf Rieberg of Sweden, one of the great jumps nations, can put pay to that. Remember the European Indoors, the last major championship they staged in Gothenburg, which was 2013 at the Scandinavium, and on the final day, right in the middle of the program, they had a 90-minute block of pure jumps, nothing on the track, full house, every seat filled, massive athletics nation. What an atmosphere. It's one of the best sessions, most enjoyable sessions of athletics I think I've ever been at. Rieberg for survival. 6:17 in the first round, and that's a season's best. He needs 40 centimeters on top of that to keep going.
This was a big jump for Rieberg. You could see at the start he was turning to the crowd, trying to get them involved, and all the kids were more than happy to. The only way he's going to get 3 more jumps is if he can get into the top 8. That's how the finals work. We start off with a field of 12, but only 8 can get the full 6 jumps.
Rieberg, 6:14. He will not progress, and neither will the former European champion Tobias Jonsson. They are both out. On we go. Women's 100 meters T11 heats. And we have 5 of these to go through.
Heat 1 of the women 100 meters.
Some great names. But Jerusa Gebe
Lane 1.
emerging with the world record this year in Sao Paulo. Julia Shawn of Mauritius. Gebe goes in heat 4 here. Laya Ishitile, very, very versatile for Namibia. Generally, we tend to see her get into finals.
Lane 5, representing
Linda Perez of Venezuela goes in 5 T11. They all have guides, hence. Linda Perez of Venezuela with a guide Alvaro Casiangi. And in lane 7 for Angola, it is Emeloid Kasang with a guide Jose Haipapa.
It's heat 1 of the women 100 meters.
So it's only the winner of each heat going through. Ashwan in 1, Ishitile 3, Perez 5, and Kasang in 7.
Remember that the athlete needs complete silence.
Complete visual impairment, so silence required.
Unlike the T37 class, it is a requirement for all of the athletes in this race to use blocks, which means it often takes a little bit of time to get this race going because there are 2 people who need to get settled.
So Julia Shawn in Mauritius with her guide Loic Vukarate. Lala Ishitile of Namibia with a guide Sem Shimanda. Linda Perez with a guide Alvaro Casiani. And Emeloid Kasang with her guide Jose Haipapa. The winner only going through. They are away. Lovely start by Perez of Venezuela in 5. Ishitile fighting back for Namibia. She'll have to fight back a bit more, and she is doing it. Oh, this is tight. Ishitile took it. She's through. Perez in second. 12:36 the winning time. The guides having to make sure that they didn't cross the line first in the excitement. They got it right. Laya Ishitile just edging it. Well, she was obviously being told by Sem Shimanda to get a move on. Ishitile, 12:38 official. Perez, 12:39. That may well be good enough. It's the next 4 going through to the semi-finals, obviously, from these 5 heats.
Now, often in the rounds, you will see, as you say, athletes shutting down at the end, but these athletes could not because only the first place is guaranteed to go through. The next 7 fastest times will go through, but that's why they kept fighting right until the end. What is so impressive about watching these athletes and their guides go is the way that they run in synchronicity. They have to match their limbs, and that's not easy to do, and it's the guide who has to change their stride length, their stride pattern to match the athlete.
Yes, the semi-finals will see quite a war of attrition, really. Tell you why in a moment, but what a finish this was, I have to say, by Ishitile. Only the winner going through, and the next 7 does leave a bit of a bar, but there are 5 heats. On average, it's only going to be 1 coming through for most of them if they're lucky. Ishitile with the dip, which you don't always see in the early rounds, but she wanted to make sure, got in ahead of Lopez. There are 3 semi-finals, and it's only the winner plus 1 fastest loser from those semi-finals to go through to the decider later in the week. Ishitile take it, 12:36 ahead of Perez in second place.
That dip was incredibly well timed, and that's a communication with her guide. To not see the line and nail that was amazing.
100th of a second, Ishitile qualifies for the semis. Perez will have to wait. And that was tight.
Men's shot put F41 final. Omanov, the reigning world and Paralympic champion, with his final attempt, 14:69 thus far.
The men's discus throw
He has it all already.
He's the bronze medalist of
His
the
final throw is in first place.
for Slovakia, Dusan Latko,
The man from Uzbekistan.
silver medalist for India, 43 meters 17, Yogesh Kakunia.
His final throw, 14.69, number 3. They like it. Number 6 could be the best of all. And it is 14.73. That is a new world record. So, championship record of 14.73 for Babazron Omanov of Uzbekistan. He makes sure he retains that title he won 4 years ago in Dubai. Championship record for him. Nico Capel, season best for the man who's well supported here in the stands of 14.49. And Hagen Landry, 13.48 for him, picking up a bronze medal for the United States after he took silver in Tokyo.
The remarkable thing about Uzbekistan is they've won more medals than anyone else this week. That's their second title, and they've now won 11 medals. I think there are a few empty schools today. Everybody welcome. And you are too. And by the way, if you're watching at home and you're thinking, I'm not a bad local athlete, I think I might have a chance in this. Well, there are talent days happening everywhere. It's always worth a pop. You'll always be welcome to test out for all the different events, including the 100 meters.
So the longer jumpers are waiting for the top 8 will move through now to their next jumps, and while they're having a chat, and guides and coaches and everyone else is getting ready, they're also getting themselves ready for the 100 metres T11 complete visual impairment, because we continue with the opening round. 5 heats in total. This will be heat number 2. Youth and experience in this one. Marissa Gabert will go in heat number 4, the world record holder.
Lane 1, representing
Indonesia's Susan Ungu, lifetime best set this year of 13.58, competing in her first major championships and enjoying the occasion by the looks of things. Now China, as always, well represented. And next to Ungu of Indonesia, Zhu Guohu will be heading out as well. Now Zhu won gold in London 2012 and also in London for the World Para-Athletics Championships in 2017, so she clearly likes the London Stadium. Regina Dumbo, she was disqualified in the 400 metres heats.
Lane 5, representing
This is her first major championship, the lady from Angola. And the home favourite in this one, Tiffany Leguet-Lodz. Big cheer for her. Allez la France indeed.
Republic of China, Angola, France. One athlete will get the direct ticket to the
4 to go.
that will be
Only one will move through to the semi-finals. There are 5 heats in total. At the end of those 5, the 7 best qualifying times, along with the winners of those 5 heats, will move through to the semi-finals. So you can see the guide on the left there of Leguet-Lodz, Erwin Le Roland, who's just chatting with her and going through the basics of what they're going to be doing and talking about the tactics and getting her set up for the start. This, the complete visual impairment. You can see the tether that was on Zhu just then. You can see it hanging down in the background there. So the guy will get her sorted on her blocks, tether themselves up, which has to remain for the entire race. Any removal of the tether, if the tether comes free during the race, it will be a disqualification. So we'll wait for silence, because this being the complete visual impairment. And they're away. And got away really well on the outside. Did look at Loz, the French woman, but really in front of everyone. It's Zhu Guha, who has gone out to a massive lead of 10 metres or so, and 12:37 is the time that she has gone across in to take the victory. So she is definitely through to the semi-finals. That was a really well-run race by Zhu, and she had the running of everyone straight away. Did the lady who won gold back in 2012 in London. She's also a former world champion as well. Added to that, she won long jump gold in Dubai as well. So she's a multi-talented athlete who can sprint, and she can also jump. And I think I know someone who falls into that same bracket. Steph Reed next to me, who did something similar.
Well, it's a very handy combination to have when you have speed to long jump. But again, you just see the coordination that is necessary. Beautiful high knees, just done in perfect symmetry. And in case you're watching and wondering, well, why are all of the guides male? Women, of course, can guide as well, but when you have an athlete like Zhu who can run in 11.91 seconds, you need an athlete who is at least a full second faster than you, because the guide will have to run at a pace that at least feels easy for them by about a second and is able to still talk and communicate, and that is not easy to find.
No, it's a very difficult skill to have. Even in those long distance races, they're trying to catch their breath, but in these, it's so quick over that 11 seconds or 12 seconds or so that you really need to be quick and instructive with what you talk about. So there's a qualifying time of 12.37, lifetime best equal for the Frenchwoman Leggett Loz, and Ungu, a lifetime best for her in third position after heat number 2. You talk about that synchronicity of athletes. I think the easiest way to compare it is, do you remember when you did the three-legged race when you were younger? It is the easiest way to actually compare that synchronicity which you need with having the inside legs running next to each other in the same symmetry and synchronicity.
I was thinking that, and I was also thinking it's a little bit like synchronized diving.
Yeah.
But I think I like the three-legged race better. Also, because you can try that at home, strap yourself to someone, and just see how hard it is to run quickly when you're connected.
This is very true. So to make it even harder, blindfold yourself as well, and you will get an idea if one of those people are blindfolded of what it's like to be a T11 100-meter athlete, or a T11 athlete at any distance. Colour-coded areas, by the looks of things. Each school, each group.
That is a very clever way not to get lost.
And the umbrellas are out, not because it might be raining, because they're an absolutely wonderful tool to use against the sun, because it has come out. It was a little fresh earlier this morning, truth be told, but it has become very sunny, and the sun is shining on the long jump pit at the moment.
We're at the halfway stage. We have 3 rounds to go. And we have an equal world record for Donier Saliev, so a new world record required to beat him. Khosravani is a lifetime best at 7:26. Wong just about survived. Aliev held on. That's 2 of the 3 medalists from last time out. And the defending champion, Saliev, top of the pile, spectacularly. It's just such a magnificent crowd on this near straight, and what we've seen from I would say definitely the last 3 Paralympic Games, there's been such an enthusiasm, such an excitement, such huge crowds as well. It was so gratifying to see. And obviously, I mean, we saw that as well, what, 6 years ago now at the World Championships in what's now the London Stadium, but for many of us will always be the Olympic Stadium.
8 athletes will have the 3 extra jumps to try to get the medals of this Paralympics World Championships Paris 2023.
And you have to say, it's kind of the knock-on effect as well. Saliev is really having a time of it.
There will be 5 heats.
Just a little technical ironing out to be done. Because obviously the thing is with the Paralympic Games, you'll have people, and we saw it in London, and I mean, we shouldn't shy away from the fact there will be quite a few people who will buy tickets to the Paralympics simply because they couldn't get tickets to the Olympics. And yet, they will remain being, you know, Parasport fans for years because of that. As we've seen from particularly 2012, 2016, 2008 even in Beijing, which was massive there too.
Yeah, and it's a great, I think lots of people have this idea that you have to have a disability to enjoy parasport, and you definitely do not. You do need to understand the classification in order to really love it, but I have yet to find someone who has been to a Paralympic event for the first time and didn't love it. People are always surprised by how much they love parasport.
Just as a sporting occasion, just a sport, it's proper entertainment. I mean, everybody's taken a different route to get here, particularly in the case of these T11, complete visual impairment, but it's competitive sport, it's proper sport. And all the more enjoyable to watch through that fact. Quite a lot of these we've already seen in the long jump earlier in the week, particularly in the case of Ayola Dedai of Italy, who was 6th in that long jump final and partnered here by her guide Alessandra Galbiati. For Brazil, Lorena Salvatini, who picked off a superb silver medal in the long jump. Renato Ben-Hur Costa, her guide. Liu Kuxing, one of the fastest in the world, 11.96 a lifetime best, with her guide Chen Shen-Ming. And alongside her 4th in the long jump. For Spain, Albert Garcia and her guide Diego Munoz. 13.33, a lifetime best set this year. Improving all the time. Dedai, Salvatini, Liu and Garcia. The 4 in this. It's only the winner to go through, plus the next 7 fastest across the 5 heats. Dedai, former long jump world champion in 2017, silver in the 100 at the last European, silver in the 2 before that in Swansea in 2014. But Liu, a dedicated sprinter. Salvatini, world bronze, 100 and 200 in Dubai last time out. Garcia is still only 19, made her debut really young in a major championship, so it's Dedai in 1, Salvatini in 3, Liu in 5, Garcia 7, with only the winner to progress. They are away. Only the winners to progress. Liu and Salvatini, the 2 fastest in the field. And they're showing it again here. Salvatini's coming back well on Liu. Salvatini just slightly over Liu to reach the semi-finals for certain. 12.23 the winning time. And that's the fastest so far. Salvatini had a real job in her hands there. Just slightly outside her season's best, but more importantly, it's faster than Liu's time here, only by a couple of hundreds. 12.28 a season's best for Liu, 500s between them. And for Albert Garcia, She just found herself a little bit down. Lifetime best for her in 12.78. That's something special. But Salvatini progresses. And Liu Kujing can't quite emulate what Xiao Guha did in the previous heat. She was in control here, but then Salvatini really came on.
Again, once again, what you see is athletes having to fight and treat every single round like a final. And it's one of the nuances for the T11 and the T12 sprints is that you can only fit 4 athletes in each round because they have to be given 2 lanes for their guide, which means that compared to the other classifications and the other sprinters, they're having to run more rounds, and they're having to run each round with the intensity as though it is a final.
Only the winner progressing, and the best way to make sure is to do what Salvatini's done there, what Ishitile did in the first heat. Just slip on in and dip, and boy did she dip. Only took it by 300ths. And a reminder, it goes on the torso. Athlete has to be there first. Don't see it as much as we used to, where the guides have just got a little bit too excited and there's been a bit of a missed timing. Salvatini timed that right. 12.23, she's through. And Liu Kujing is through as well. She's fast enough. Alba Garcia must wait. Lifetime best for Deadeye as well. That's quite something for the European silver medalist. Double.
Women's shot put at 54 final. Elizabeth Rodriguez of Brazil.
Keep it up, keep it up. Et un petit solo de guitare là.
Rodriguez out near the 7-meter mark. That she holds the world record of 7.16. Oh, she's absolutely smashed it. 7.75 with her 5th, a new world record for Elizabeth Rodriguez, breaking her own mark she set in Sao Paulo just last month. Rodriguez with a world record takes the gold, coming over season best silver. Maradonis bronze with a season best for her of 7.37 for the world record holder at the F54 level.
His best mark will remain 6.55.
So now there's been a protest in the long jump. That's the delay. Brian Eggerson, who was in 10th place, has been allowed a 4th attempt, and he's gone out to 6.22. And they're working on the chalk as well. But we are going to have 9 continuing in this competition. Eggerson has come up with a 6.22 attempt. Here comes Wong with his latest effort. He's currently lying on 6.60, that excellent silver medal from the last World Championships for Malaysia. Vasquez has gone out with a 4th round attempt just now of 6.47. He doesn't improve. His best is 6.55, which has him in 8th.
And just a note on that protest, anytime there is a protest, the best thing to do is to allow the athlete who's protesting is to continue, because obviously if the protest is successful and they have them stop, then they can never get that moment back. But if the protest is unsuccessful, then those results simply won't count.
It's kind of like running under protest, if you like, after a false start. The European Indoors this year in Istanbul, wasn't there somebody who had to compete on their own 3 or 4 times?
Yes.
Because the blocks kept moving and they kept giving them a false start and
Heat 4 of the
didn't make it in the end.
100 meters to 11. Lane 1 representing
As we head back to the track, the long jump will continue, and we'll get back to that ASAP to bring you news of what is happening there, but it's still happening on the track. This is heat number 4. First up we saw Wu of Taipei, 17-year-old at her first major championship. Boulaglem of France, 7th in the long jump already. And Harusa Gebert, the world record holder, gold in 2019. She comes in as defending champion. We'll go in lane 5. Juliana Moko of Angola, who debuted in 2019 in Dubai with her guide. Abel Santo will go in lane 7. So never a dull session. Always something that happens during it. Always something to look forward to, and there's always plenty to look back on afterwards. As we've had yet again in this morning session on day 5. Wu of Chinese Taipei goes in 1, Boulaglem of France in 3, Gebert of Brazil in 5, and Moko of Angola goes in lane 7. Heat number 4, women's 100 metres, T11. So silence is adhered to, and it is Gebert who gets away quickest of all, and she's out by 7 or 8 metres already. Just a case of making sure she goes across that line before the guide. She does that. 12.56 seconds for Gebert of Brazil, the current world record holder, current world champion, looking to retain her title here at these championships. Silver back in 2012 in London, and she has progressed since then to move into those gold medal positions. Takes the plaudits of the crowd. Her guide, Gabriel dos Santos, been together for a long time now. 11.83, that season best, which is that world record set in Sao Paulo back in March. And you can see there she gets away to a very quick start.
They do, and actually it's interesting watching there. The guides themselves have to be incredibly experienced because in a sense they're driving out, but he's also doing this extra job of trying to steer her. And just like if you had a dance partner, this is what you're looking at. You need to get used to the other person's rhythm and how they move. And again, you just mentioned her season's best, 11.83. I think in order to guide someone effectively, you probably need to be about a second quicker than them. So if you were going to find a female that runs 10.83, that's going to be hard. And again, that's why we see so many male guides.
Just look at the height difference there between the two as well. So you talked earlier about his stride pattern and how you have to match the athlete. That's very important. Now, that's been a disqualification for Boulaglem, who's been disqualified. So the French lady will not have a chance of going through. It's a season best equaling run for Moko. Let's just have a look at Boulaglem. And she's gone outside her lane. You can see there the left foot of Boulaglem slightly went outside the lane. So I know we look at it from a point of getting from A to B quicker than what it would have been. In your opinion there, would it have been?
Well, that's interesting. There may be a follow-up protest because even though she has stepped outside of her lane in 100 meters, you're not actually gaining an advantage. And so unless you've impeded someone, usually there's a little bit of leeway there. So I'd be interested to see what the follow-up is on that one.
Well, the rules are the rules, and she has been disqualified under 19.4 of the rule book. So Delia Boulaglem sadly sees her championship in the T11 100 metres at least. Let's have another look and just forensically analyse. Now it goes onto the line there. Her right foot stays in and her left foot there goes into the lane of Wu of Taipei. So she then comes back in towards the middle now, if anything. So the guide has gone across the line before.
Okay, so that makes more sense. So the disqualification then was because the guide went in front of the athlete, and that can't happen. So it wasn't for the lane disqualification. it was the fact that the guide's torso crossed before the athletes.
Well, that clears things up, because we did see that the athlete went slightly outside the lane, but if we don't think she's actually made any difference, then it's play on. But the guide has gone across before the line. We've spoken about that. We've seen it now practically happen in a race. So Geber goes through in first place. Back to the long jump.
And here comes Nafajadze of Azerbaijan. 7:11 is best so far. That has sent him up into the medals in third place for Azerbaijan. Season's best for him as well. Khosrovani with that second round attempt of 7:26, a lifetime best, and Saliev equaling the world record, going up to 7:47.
We know this is a really high quality competition because already we have 3 men over the 7-meter mark. And right there, he's just getting a little bit of feedback from his coach, and that's one of the great things about the field event. You really can work your way through the round. It only takes one big jump to win, and it doesn't matter what round that jump comes in.
He doesn't improve. It is 7:02 for the Paralympic bronze medalist. Paralympic champion will be next. Saïd Najafzadeh.
Il a battu son record personnel. Il vous demande le soutien en bout là-bas, tout au bout. Allez, Charletti.
Well, one lifetime best already for the man from Iran.
Allez, ensemble.
It's almost in the other jumping. This is a run-up and a half. Can he produce the goods from it? He pulled out of it. Gets the white flag, but it's not going to be anything like the mark that he was looking for. He had a no jump in the third round.
It was interesting to see. He has one of the longest run-ups we've seen yet in this competition. He's almost starting in the opposite long jump pit, and that's fine. There are no rules about how long or how short your run-up needs to be, and in some competitions you'll actually see some extra mondo laid out in the other pit, and sometimes athletes will want a longer run-up because it gives them more speed.
Medium visual impairment, though, you're going from a long distance, far away. You're trying to almost make it short, though, so you can not have to run away from the actual runway. So coming from that distance, if your vision is not 100%, it can be quite difficult to actually see. If you look up to the left, you can see the next athlete taking part who's getting set there. It's Saliev. He's way up the end as well, so it's a long distance he's covering before he gets down to the jump board.
You're right. The longer your runway, the more room for error, but you have to find that balance between speed, and he is going for speed.
Saliev, a world record last time. I think he likes that one. It's a white flag. He equaled the world record in the previous round with 7:47. Has he done something even more significant? It's difficult to calculate with the naked eye, simply because of the measurement from where you take off to where you land, which is unlike any other version of the long jump that you'll see. But it's big. Just how big? A serious effort. It's certainly beyond 7 meters. All of his efforts have been beyond that mark so far. Najafzadeh, same story except for his first attempt, which was 6.99. That's as far up as you can get, realistically, with any comfort.
I do wonder sometimes about the effect of not jumping off the board, because the board, it is a different surface and it's wood, and I always felt like you get a little bit more purchase from something as solid as that. On the other hand, you get the benefit of having your jump measured from where your foot took off, so I'm not sure which I would prefer.
It's taken a while for this result to come in for Saliev, but now it has. 7 meters 19. It's not an improvement, and actually there was a minus wind in his face of 1.2 for what must be the first time this week. Remarkable. The last heat of 5 in the opening round of the women's 100 meters. And we have some majorly significant athletes in this. Tell you, Talita Simplicio facing towards the crowd, enjoying the atmosphere, except obviously in the run-up to the race. Complete visual impairment it is. So the European champion over 200 meters in 2018, Leah Bell, coached by her husband David Alonso. The coach is Marco Iglesias. She's in one. Here is the new back-to-back 400 meters champion from Brazil, Talita Simplicio. In lane 5 for Colombia, bronze medalist here this week as she was at the Paralympic Games, Angie Pabon for Colombia. And in lane 7 for Cameroon, semi-finalist here in the 4, as she was in the 100 and 200 at the Paralympic Games in Tokyo, and that is Judith Lebog of Cameroon. Bell, Simplicio, Pabon, Lebog. The 4 in this, only the winner to go through, plus the next 7 fastest. And right now, the target time is 13.40 for anybody who doesn't win in this. And the athlete hanging on is Susan Ungu of Indonesia. So Bell in 1, Simplicio in 3, Pabon in 5, Lebog in 7. Progress for the winner. Simplicio in 3. And a chance potentially of her first double. Well, they're going to have to stand up. There's a little bit of commotion in the crowd. It is Open Schools Day.
I think you could also see there Lebog's coach, or her guide, just adjusting her hand there. And at that point, they had been in the blocks, sitting there for quite a long time. And so I think the referee just thought, you know what, let's reset and make sure that they're not sitting there for too long. Because if you sat there and you have that tension, you're not going to get a great start.
Which is all fair enough. Simplicio won the silver in the 100 meters last time out at the Pan Ams in Lima behind Jerusa Gobert. Same thing happened in the 200 as well. Bale Quintana. Just a couple of words with the guide. Marco Iglesias is the guide of Leah Bale. Felipe Valesso is with Simplicio. Luis Arzala with Angie Pabon. And Frank Sessen is with Judith Lebog. Been a couple of times we've had female guide athletes, but they've tended to be international class. So Bell, Simplicio, Pabon and Lebog, only the winner definitely progressing. So finally underway in this last heat. Simplicio away very well in lane 3 for Brazil. Pabon in 5, progressing well also. But Simplicio all the way. She's going to take this. 12.54. Pabon in 2nd. Bill coming up in 3rd. It's not the fastest of the 5. It's actually the 5th fastest of the 5. But it doesn't matter for Simplicio. She gets through. Bit of a wait will come for the rest. Pabon in 13.04 has qualified. Leah Bale. It's very tentative for her because that's another place taken. Bale Quintana, lifetime best, not enough to go through in 13.29. There was a lot of waiting there, even more so. Not just the fact that it was the 15.5, but There was the little reset beforehand, and she got away very well, Talita Simplicio.
That was a solid run from Simplicio. Her and her guide, they put the work in early, and they had the ability to just cruise through that last 30 meters, which I'm pleased for her, because there is a lot of strapping right now on her leg, and she has some taping on her knee. And again, there are so many rounds and semis and finals that these athletes have to go through before they can get to that medal round. And I just hope she's able to manage her body in between well, so that we really can see the best of her come that semi-final and hopefully that final.
Well, Simplicio has won the 400 meters title at the last 2 World Championships. Silver in the 200 in 2019, along with her gold in the 4. Followed that up identically in 2020. And now Simplicio gets the win here, Pabon in second. And they both go through.
Batista dos Santos in the men's discus throw F56 category, the seeded category. And this is the man who holds the world record and championship record at the F56 level. This an F55 and F56 combined class.
We saw the shot put earlier, and it was interesting to see that the women prefer to sit sitting straight or heading face on, whereas the Santos sits a little bit on the side.
Well, that is first one, 46.07, a championship record for Batista dos Santos. Nabosa Juric, who's an F55. There are 2 F55s in this men's discus throw. Lifetime best of 40.37. And that one, and you can see it slightly went out to the right as he threw. That championship record is 39.47. The world record of 39.84. That was set in Berlin at the Europeans back in 2018. Dubai for that championship record. And it's Paris for a championship record here, 39.52. He remains 5th, but he has the F55 championship record, which is why you see in 5th place the Serbian still only there with a championship record. Batista dos Santos, he is F56.
It is really good to take some time just to explain that, because ideally everybody would compete in their own category separately, but I think in terms of practicalities, we can't have finals that have 2 or 3 athletes, and that's why we will sometimes see them combined.
Absolutely. It's a case of sometimes mucking in together to have a very good competition, or having one that's much weaker than the other, and that's not what any of the athletes want.
I think the long jump officials certainly are amongst the hardest working. I once spent an afternoon raking the pit and bending down to adjust the chalk, and I have to say, my back felt it the next day.
Yeah, I'm amazed at the amount of effort that goes into raking that pit. You can see the official there is still, so they start from the middle and they work their way back, and it's a sweeping movement that ends up bringing that sand all the way back to this foreground at the back of the pit there, and it's quite a sight to behold how they do it with a swirling broom brush that goes around and making sure that it's in perfect condition for these athletes to jump. And Nishiyama with his 5th, he's currently in 4th position. 6.93, his lifetime best, the Japanese athlete. As you can see, 6.83 with his first jump. That's his best thus far. 7.11 is what the Azerbaijani Najafatsi is in for the bronze medal. And that one there looks decent. Except it's a red flag. He's gone too far across the board. So a foul for Ishiyama. No improvement. He stays in 4th position as we move into the top 3 in their penultimate jumps.
So this is Ishiyama's 5th round jump, and when you are sitting in 4th place with only 2 more rounds to go, this really is the moment where you go for broke. You charge that pit, and unfortunately, we can see there, sometimes when you're really going for it, you just find that extra speed, that stride length lengthens just a little bit. But this is what he has to do. There is nothing to lose at this point. You're so close to the medals, you may as well just go for it.
Najafzadi of Azerbaijan. Now he has a season best of 7:11 that he's jumped already. The European champion and bronze in 2020 at the Paralympic Games. He currently sits in the bronze medal position at these World Championships, and that is a decent takeoff from the board. Gets the white flag. Now that season best of 7:11 maybe coming under a bit of duress. He's jumped 3 times over the 7-metre mark. The opener just under 7 metres, so he's been consistent with his form. But a nice long run on that runway, and by the time he gets there, he's fully up to speed.
And what I really like about his runway is that there's no... If you were watching him running and you didn't see the pit, you would think he was just doing 100 meters. There's no preparation. He just carries all of the speed that he has built up. And that's what you want to do, because it's a shame to put all that effort into getting the speed and then slowing down.
More consistency again. 7:08, no improvement, but he does stay in that 3rd position and 12 centimetres covering his 5 jumps. Kosovani will move up in the silver medal position for his 5th, having set a lifetime best with his 2nd of 7:26 for the Iranian.
This is quite a battle between these two. This is another very long run up for Amir Khosrovani. So 7:26 lifetime best in round 2. Can he do even better? It's the same as last time. He's pulled out of the effort. It was 5:78 in round 4 for him, and something very similar here. And the rhythm just right at the end is not what he's wanted, and he's been left with a bit of discomfort.
7:26 will remain his best.
Oh, he's hurt himself. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's horrible. That is horrible. Well, no wonder.
That looks like his right foot that he's done there. Now that is actually a worse injury doing that with a knee version, which goes inwards, than going outwards. Now if it goes outwards and you do your ligaments on the outside, it's painful. But if you go inwards and do it on the inside, that hurts even more.
But remember, you're putting all the pressure on that because it's a takeoff. It's not as if he's doing it just walking. Oh, dear me.
Just to give you a gauge for how much force is going through your body at takeoff. They say for elite sprinters, when they sprint, it's about 5 times their body weight. When you take off, it can be up to 8 to 9 times your body weight.
Well, I guess the only saving grace that you can take out of this, that he's already in the silver medal position, so he has a decent mark already.
It's a good sign that he is walking, but often as a jumper, you know by the takeoff, if it doesn't feel good, you abort it. It's too hard on your body, or if you know it's a foul, you're going to abort it as well. But that is the sensible thing to do, and I really hope he's okay.
Very good reason to pull out of that.
The world record, 7:47. Can he do better? Of course he can, with your support.
So it is Saliev with that equal world record of 7:47. And the fact that one of his main contenders has picked up a bad injury. But there's no stopping this man. Saliev looks in brilliant form today. He's already set a new championship record. This is some way to defend a world title. It's another 7-meter one. There can't be much doubt about that.
His best mark so far.
Plus a little bit more.
I like it on that one. The cameraman now knows just how high he jumps, and he was perfectly in vision. And you can just, it's the way that he takes off and the way that he finishes the takeoff and reaches out for the sky and brings his feet all the way forward, not missing any distance.
That is absolutely magnificent. It is definitely beyond 7 meters. He's got the takeoff absolutely right. And if what has come up on our system is correct, it is the most astonishing jump of all time. And it's been corrected to 7 meters 33. I should say that it originally come up as 77 meters, which if it was correct, he'd have landed just short of the Eiffel Tower. 7:33 in its own right, further than anyone else today.
I think one of my favorite things there, I almost missed the end of the jump because I was so busy watching the reaction of the coach. And often you'll see the coaches at field events, and they're quite stoic with their faces. They don't give much away, but he was way too excited to hold that in. I think what he's seeing is some great form in his athlete and showing it at the time when it matters most.
Well, Costravani's just walked back in the background there a moment or two ago, and he had both his shoes off. He was walking. I'm wondering whether he might have said, I've had enough for today.
I mean, mercifully, we were shown reviews of his jump a minimum number of times. That was not pleasant. And obviously, worse for him.
On the screen, the standings.
You wouldn't blame him for this stage. He just said, well, silver, okay, I think we'll take that. He's got a few minutes to recover. It's probably 10 minutes before he would get his next attempt.
Oh, he's putting it back on, so that is the foot. So that foot there is the one that we saw that bent inwards on his last jump. So he's had 2 jumps now where he's pulled out, but it looks, to all intents and purposes, that he's going to get back up and have another go. He can't fault his bravery. Doesn't look too bad. So perhaps maybe it looked worse than it actually was at the time, which is a small mercy to be thankful for.
Next athlete on the runaway for Argentina, Fernando Vasquez.
Now, Brian Eggerson is set to go here. It's been announced in the stadium as Fernando Vasquez, but Eggerson in 10th place is being allowed a final attempt. Well, he's given it a good tilt. It's unusual for, I would almost say unprecedented, certainly from what I've seen, for somebody that low down in the competition to get all their jumps in, but he has done so. 6:22 is season's best.
I'm intrigued to know what the actual protest was for.
That will be a slight improvement. It's just beyond 6 meters. And I have to say, to be absolutely fair to him,
And of course, have you seen it? Brian
his best jumps have been those last 3.
6 jump, 6 meters, 24.
You've heard it from Charlie, our stadium announcer.
For Kenya.
She stays where she is, and he stays where he is as well in 10th spot, 6:24. Vasquez can go now. Johnson finishing in 9th place, doesn't have the luxury of trying to improve, but Vasquez certainly can do for Argentina. 6:55 is best to date.
Well, Vasquez in 8th position. No wind at all as we come into the home stretch in the men's long jump T12. There it is. You just saw that windsock to the left. Nothing there at all. Vasquez off the board. A legal jump. But hard to see any improvement as his guy gives him a nice hug and says, well done. So there's Vasquez's coach.
And in the competition today, 6 meters,
He must be pleased with his consistency
with his best.
Started off with 6:54, 6:55 for his third, and he's been there or thereabouts the whole way through.
58. He will remain.
Consistency is usually a sign that an athlete is ready to take a leap forward. Every so often you will get that, one exciting jump, but you want to be able to back it up because you need to know in a competition I can deliver that on demand. So consistency it's a good thing. I'm sure he would have wanted to be a little bit higher up in the rankings.
Well, you talked about a leap forward. He has leapt forward, 6:58. So he's improved with his very last jump. He's added 3 centimetres to what was his best today, and he finishes with 6:58 in 8th position.
Decent championship debut as well for him. Can't ask much more than that.
Actuellement, 7e du concours avec 6 mètres, 63.
So
Wong Kar-ji.
Well, the man who is in his second World Championships, his first one produced a silver medal. He's in 6th right now.
Now just see him in the foreground there. You can tell there's a bit of heat down that surface down there. It's warmed up as the morning's gone on. It was actually a bit chilly. I had a jumper on earlier, and it's now actually warmed up as we've moved through this morning session, despite there being a bit of cloud cover.
Now this is the last round, and as far as my knowledge goes, it actually flips to the order it's currently in. So it should be Aliyev to go now, because he's lying in 7th place. Wong is in 6th. But it's Wong who's on the runway, because that's the order they were jumping in. But there will be a reset for the final round.
Now you may have seen
Somebody should tell Aliyev, and somebody has told Aliyev.
You may have seen that last shot we saw there. You may have been out every now and then, and you wonder why it looks a bit hazy like that and drifts across. That's because, my friends, it is hot. Trust me. I grew up in a hot country. So Aliyev is ready to go. Well, I like that one.
Well, there are some excellent benefits to it being hot when you're sprinting and long jumping. And one of them is just that your muscles tend to work better. You tend to get more power from muscles that are warm. But the other thing that's really helpful, particularly in a long jump, is that it means that you don't have to warm up as much in between the jumps. Actually, often I would just lie on the track because you can feel the heat through the track and it just keeps you nice and warm.
We'll just find out what Aliyev is going to get in a minute, but just tell me something then. If it's a cooler day and it's not these type of temperatures and you're putting jackets on and so forth, how much more difficult is it in those conditions?
Well, I can tell you
6:67 for Aliyev, so he finishes in 7th position. Doesn't improve on, or slightly improves, I should say, on his earlier jump of 4 centimetres further there. But just tell us about when it's a bit colder.
Yeah, I can tell you it definitely gets a lot more difficult logistically, especially, well, when you had an artificial leg, because you want to put trousers on, but you can't always fit the trousers over top of your artificial leg. But you just come out, and often when I compete in Great Britain, I will come with a winter coat, with a raincoat, and with a light summer coat, just in case the weather changes while I'm there.
I'm pretty sure Canadian conditions can be like that sometimes as well. But anyway, we'll move along. So 6:67 just a moment ago for Aliyev. Here goes Wong. Wong's best so far. His last jump was 6:65. That was a season best for him. And coming into this, his season best was 6:60. He has jumped 7:22 before. So there is the potential for Wong to do much better than he has done here, but it doesn't always work out that way as they bring that tape measure out. Just explain to us why they have a manual tape measure.
So often we'll see the electronic tape measure, and that's because in a long jump, for example, for able-bodied, or if you were an amputee, you would always take off from the same point. But for T11 athletes, T12 athletes, the reason that they are powdering the runway is because they measure directly from their foot. So if the position you measure from is changing all the time, you have to have a manual tape measure. But in this case, they will be using, I can't quite see from here, but often they have a metal one, which is known to be that much more accurate.
Well, the dustpan is, the brush I should say, is out, and he's just fixing that powder at the moment. It's quite a
Autour maintenant,
unique way that it's done in.
Andreas
They have to make sure that it's
cinquième
easy enough to read where the athlete has jumped from, because there are so many of them who are going across it.
pour l'Allemand.
So it's not talcum powder, but they're just making sure that it's nice and smooth, as they do with the pit. The technicals that go into long jump in these categories is quite significant.
And that's exactly why they have a camera located right on that takeoff board.
It's been a lifetime best for Andreas Walser of Germany today, 6:82, which came in the second round. And he's been quietly doing his thing.
In this competition,
27 years old, he's gone out to 670 this season. It is a global championship debut for him.
a medal in this event.
We're getting some great shots of all angles of this long jump, and you can see that there was that robotic camera in the background, just allowing us to fully appreciate from every single angle just the height and the speed and the distance that the athletes are getting.
So lifetime best for Andreas Walser of TSV Schwaben Augsburg. 5th spot on his global championship debut. That is decent going. Well, for Daiki Ishiyama, this is it. 683.
Next athlete on the
Lifetime
runway
best
for
this
Japan,
season of
Ishiyama,
693.
Daiki.
711 for the medals.
Come on, it's the last event of this morning session.
So can he make it?
Jump T12.
Two misses so far along the way. His first attempt was his best attempt
Avec Ishiyama Diki, le Japonais.
on his global debut.
Pour un 6 mètres 83.
Oh, he's met that well. As they say, he's left it all out there. He's given that as much as he can do, really.
To reach the podium.
Lying in 4th spot. He's come close to his lifetime best. He's had his best season ever.
22.
Truthfully, you can't ask much more than that. It would be unfair to.
Well, that was a great jump because he had a foul in the 5th round, and again, he has nothing to lose. He may as well go for it, and he obviously had a great discussion with his coach just to reset that runway. And we see a lot of markers along the runway, and sometimes those are for the athletes, but often they're actually for the coaches. The coaches will watch the marker, and that way they know where the athlete is, and if there is an issue, they know where the issue is happening and how far back to position them. And that was a great job to ensure his last effort does count.
So on his championship debut, he finishes 4th, and a big prospect, big potential for the Asian Para Games coming up in Hanyang later in the year.
As the official are making
3
sure
to
the
go.
ball is perfect.
Saeed Najafzadeh
Of the athletes.
for Azerbaijan.
Come on,
7:11
Let's follow the rhythm. Tap.
to match his lifetime best.
Come on.
Allez, Saïd Najafzadeh.
Can he go further? 16 further centimeters in order to go up to silver. He's done his best with it,
Sa meilleure performance
and now the weight is on
réalisée dans cette finale.
for the Paralympic bronze medalist.
It's such an interesting thing to be sitting in 3rd place in the final round, because on the one hand, you know you have a medal, but as an athlete, you also then need to step up and be just a little bit greedy and try and get further up, maybe silver, maybe gold.
7 meters, 5 centimeters for Saeed Najafzadeh.
Well, 7:11 was his best.
Medalist of the Para-Athletics World
It was
Championships.
his global debut in Tokyo. So many championships being put off, obviously, and delayed over the last couple of years. So 7:05 for him. Bronze for Najafzadeh. Saliev's gold is looking a bit more secure. And now we have to wait and see if there's one jump left in the competition or two.
Khosravani is going to take to the board again for his final jump. Now, the Iranian we saw in the last round, he suffered what looked like a pretty bad injury. So he has jumped a personal best here today. So coming into this, his best was 7:21. He's gone to 7:26. He's got a bit of work to do, and he would have to break a world record if he is to take gold. Let's see how he gets on with that long, long run up. Well, you can almost see he's still struggling somewhat as he takes off from the board. It was almost as if he didn't quite get as much jump as he would like, and I suspect psychologically after what happened in the last one, when you're running down towards the board, you must be thinking to yourself, I hope this doesn't happen again. But you can see he comes from a long, long way there, and just as he gets up, he doesn't get the height, does he, Steph?
I'm impressed. I mean, he was charging down that runway going for it, but you can just see he's not comfortable at the takeoff. And the thing is, I mean, he's already jumped a personal best. So for him to improve his position, he's already in silver. For him to get gold, he would have had to jump almost 21 centimeters more. And you can't do that unless you're physically at your best.
Well, he's jumped 6:52, which is about to come up in a moment. We've just seen it on our screens, and that's a guaranteed silver medal. He has set a lifetime best, so we know who is going to be the gold medalist. It's a question now of whether Doniya Saliev can improve on that world record as he comes from the far end.
Uzbekistan have their third gold medal of the week. The defending world champion takes the gold. The Paralympic champion the silver. The European champion gets the bronze here. Saliev, can he go big again? He did, but ruled out by the red flag. And that was a big reason how and why he did go big. He was well past. It's his first miss of the day, but he has a share of the world record for the first time, along with Matthias Schroeder. That world record from the IFSTAFs in Berlin in July 2009 of 7 meters 47. Saliev successfully defends his world title, having been edged out of the medals at the Paralympic Games in Tokyo. He has a chance to put that to rights back in this city next year. Doniya Saliev back on the top step of the podium again.
That is such a great moment to share with your coach. The coach is the one that's there with you every day. They're the one that's supporting you, and to have them by your side celebrating is such a great feeling.
So Saliev retains the title. A new world record is 7 meters 47. The Paralympic champion Amir Khosrovani gets the silver for Iran after that injury mid-competition. And the European champion Saeed Najafzadeh of Azerbaijan, Paralympic bronze medalist in Tokyo, finishes in third spot. But Uzbekistan are having, in para-athletics terms, so far the week of their lives.
Yes, one world record equaled by Doniya Saliev in the men's long jump T12.
It's not just the wins they're getting, it's the medals across the board. That's over a dozen now. The second title of the morning.
But the impressive thing as well is the athletes from Uzbekistan, they're coming and they're doing it with world records. And that to me says that is a coach, that is a system that knows how to get their athletes to peak when it matters the most.
In powerlifting, they have one of the best teams around. And in weightlifting, also, I mean, they're so good. A lot of the time, the world and the Asian championships are held there in Tashkent. There were 4 minutes between the starts of this men's long jump in the T12 and the F41 shot put, which Bobby Jean Omanov won. And they have trebled their gold medal haul for the week. Just like that. Saliev takes the title, 7 meters 47, but there were a few high finishers from championship debutants there. Ishiyama in fourth, Valser in fifth. This competition looks like it's going to get hotter
lancé
and
du poids
Potter.
F54 par Elisabeth Rodriguez, la brésilienne avec 7,75 m. Le record du monde du 400 mètres féminin T20 par l'américaine Brenna Clark en 55 secondes.
Men's discus throw F56. Claude Batista dos Santos breaking his own championship record in the category that he is in the F56. And Katyunya 43.17 and Lachko 42.70, a new championship record as well in Bosa Juric and his category, which is F55.
Women's shot put gold for Brazil here as well through Elizabeth Rodriguez, and a new world record of 7.75 as Uzbekistan with the silver through Nurkan Kurbanova, and Francisco Martinez the bronze for Chile, 7.37. It's 1 centimetre between second and third.
Men's 200 metres T37, the opening heat 3 went through to the final. Christian Luis da Costa went through top of the pile in that one.
As did Ricardo Gomez in the second heat, along with Sofia Namdi, Michał Kukowski and Mikola Rajski.
Women's javelin throw F46, Holly Arnold with a season best 41.06. Holly Robinson, she's been a major championship winner in the past, 38.97. She finishes in 4th position. Soskolov with the silver and Murilo Gil picking up the bronze medal. Quite a shock in that one. Season best and lifetime best, as we head all the way down the order, has been the style throughout these para-athletics world championships. Men's 1500 metres T11, the opening round. And it is Karasawa, Kenya, with a season best who goes through along with Kosakowski in those guaranteed positions.
The reigning Paralympic champion Yeltsin Jacques winning his heat, 4:12.83. Shinya Wada getting through with him as well, the Paralympic silver medalist.
Tatiana McFadden going through in the 1500 metres T54 opening heat. Manuela Schär, who's had a wonderful championship so far, also going through as one of those fastest 3.
Catherine De Bruyne, back-to-back golds for her this week. She winning heat 2 in this 1500 metres T54. Chan, Akers, Menya and Bouquet also qualifying.
Men's 400 metres T54, Hu Yang, 45.68. He is the championship record holder as well. He picked up gold. Pang Nua of Thailand with a silver, and Dai making it a Chinese 1 and 3.
So great results for Uzbekistan continuing. Bobejan Omanov winning the men's shot put F41. Athletes of short stature, Nico Capel, silver for Germany. Hagen Landry, the bronze for the United States. And Donia Saliev for Uzbekistan taking the men's long jump just now in the T12, medium visual impairment, and a world record, 7:47. Khosrovani of Iran, the silver, and Najib Sadeh of Azerbaijan, the bronze.
Women's 400 metres T20 intellectual impairment final. Brianna Clark with a new world record, winning that to add to her Paralympic gold. Yulia Shulia with a season best, and Karina Paim, the former European champion, taking the bronze.
Men's 400 metres T38 coordination impairment. Jaden Blackwell went for the world record, got an America's record in that heat, 49.61.
And a second of those heats, Zachary Gingras of Canada with a lovely finish. Nick Mayhew, who is now a T38 athlete, picking up second place going through, as did Ryan Medrano and Cheetah, a fastest qualifier.
The new 400 metres world champion, Karen Palameke of Colombia, with victory, edging out Wen of China in their heat. In the women's 100 T37, James and Angeline also through. And we had 5 heats of the women's 100 metres T11. Lala Ishitile claiming the first of those, qualifying along with Linda Perez of Venezuela, who had quite a wait for that to be confirmed.
And that's the women's 100 metres 2:37. Second heat, Jalene Roberts with a championship record. Zhang also going through, and Mandy Francoise Ali keeping the French scout very happy indeed.
Well, Jalene Roberts, that was in the women's 100 metres T37. Just running through these T11 results again. Ishitile winning heat 1 of the T11.
Zhu of China going through 12:37. And look at Lodz of France, again keeping the locals happy, lifetime best equaled, going through as the fastest qualifier to the semi-finals.
Lorena Salvatini already picking up silver in the long jump this week and winning her heat impressively ahead of Liu Kujing of China. They all qualified though. Garcia and Deadeye too.
The reigning world champion, Jerusa Gebert, qualifying through. Moko also taking a qualification spot. Bullaglem disqualified after her guy went across the line at the end before